Thomas.
Hey, welcome to Cleveland Moto Podcast, episode number 477. God, that's a lot of episodes. Light them up, boys. A little bonus. That was nice. A little touch on top. That's very, very cool. To my immediate left this evening,
Dan Kropke.
and to his immediate left,
Steve Sleepy.
and over in the corner,
Sleepy Speedy Pete.
got you there quick. You're like, there's supposed to be somebody in between us. And then around the horn,
Chris Schmish.
and behind the bar,
Tom Pennington.
Tom Bennington. So, want to give a very cool update to tonight. We're recording the podcast a little early because our friend Annie Wagner from Pittsburgh is going to be in town with her band, the Skylarks, not the Skylarks, the Skylarks, because you don't have a ska band unless you change one of the words in the name of the band to ska. It's also a fun game you can play. Where Mephistopheles is Mephistopheles, right? Exactly.
If I had a ska band, it would be the Polska Kilbasis.
The Polska Kilbasas, that's it. And you could do that twice. You could do the Polska Kilbaskas.
Oh, there you go.
You could hit it twice in one go, as they say.
He doesn't have enough guys in the band for that.
No, it's just there was a guy that was a one-man ska band, and his name was Venice Shoreline Chris, and he does a really fun song about how they wouldn't sign him for Moon Records because one-man ska band. So he created a 7-inch, right? He and literally the song talks about Mr. Bucket said it won't go because nobody wants to hear one-man ska, one-man acoustic ska. But look it up. Venice Shoreline Chris is actually really fun to listen to. I've got it in my playlist at the shop.
He was working with a skeleton crew.
Exactly.
Well, that's
Perfect.
like, what is it, Bucky One String?
Uh-huh.
The dude who kind of does reggae mostly, but he has crossover ska tracks. But
Exactly.
it's one string, one dude, and it's great.
And it is great. Yeah.
Chicken in the straw. Dun, dun.
So we have...
And he has his own truck stops.
Yeah?
well, he became very popular since then. He changed the spelling of his name.
Yeah, Hickory Teeth.
It's Bucky's One String. Right. Yeah. So Rob Thornton, one of our podcast listeners, sent us over a great message that's going to tap into what we talked about last week. Hey guys, this is from Rob Thornton, and he does get the punchlines, by the way. So Rob Thornton, hey guys, I just heard the news that Pete and Chris are heading out here to San Diego. I'd love to meet up and ride with them, either here in town or maybe tag along on their way out of town. Smallest bike I have is a genuine G400C motorcycle, but I'd rent something smaller if needed. The ride they're doing sounds great, and I can't wait to hear about their whole adventure, Rocky, in San Diego.
All right,
Nice.
Rocky.
That's exactly what Chris was looking for.
Rocky.
Yep. So
There you go.
we'll put your contact information in touch with Chris and Pete, and they can reach out to you. Very fucking cool. I really appreciate that kind of stuff. We say it, and it happens.
But if Chris has a rag in his pocket, just stay about 6 feet away from him.
Fair enough. So last week we teased you guys.
Yeah.
So last week on our out, one of our podcast listeners, one of our patrons had said, hey, what about adventure scooters? And, I was thinking about it. And we have our friend Bagel who does all kinds of scooting all over the place. We also have our friend Robot, Jeff at Scooter West, Motorsport Scooters in San Diego, who's ridden all over Mexico, all through the Baja Peninsula, all over Mexico proper on a dirt outfitted Vespa GTS, a bike that's been altered for use off-road. And they've actually done a little fleet of these bikes, and they're all painted the same, and they use them for their away missions in Mexico. That's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But nobody would ever think, oh yeah, adventure scooter, except for the fact that Honda did. And so Honda has had for a little while now a line of bikes called the ADV, and the ADV 160, and they also have bigger versions of the ADV 300 in other countries, not here. But we get the ADV 150, which has now been bumped up to the ADV 160. And this is a bike that we've had at the shop for a little while now. We recently did sell it. We finally found the right buyer for the ADV 150 adventure scooter. And the idea is to have a bike that, no, when I look at this, I'm not immediately thinking, oh yeah, that's clearly an off-road vehicle. And I've ridden it, and it's clearly not an off-road vehicle.
Hey, I'll just clue you in. Any vehicle could be an off-road vehicle.
Yes,
If you're riding with Pete.
and that really is.
And there's a road out.
Right. And so
How he does it.
I don't know how it happened, but when we did years and years and years ago, and we were doing some riding, somebody said like, well, what's an adventure bike? And one of my friends said, any bike's an adventure bike if you're brave enough, right?
Well, that's what you see the pictures of the 70s and 80s. It's like a dude on an R60, R whatever, with a couple of bags, like literally like a couple of like pillow bags strapped across the back.
Well, the entire thing was, we talked about this one night in the garage. We were talking about the old, what we thought of as scramblers that Honda and Yamaha and everybody built for the fire trails out in California. And the nomenclature behind that wasn't actually what everybody thought it was. And I don't remember the whole thing. I was probably drunk.
It happens.
But yeah.
Well, thanks for that story, Tom.
Yeah. So anyway, but that was the point, though, is that they took Honda CB350s and made it into the CL350. Yep. And suddenly all they did was put the exhaust somewhere where it'll burn you in your nuts and put some knobby tires on it.
Well, and that's not a bad that's not a bad idea. So if we think about that idea, first thing we're going to say is, okay, we're going to do something with this piece of equipment that maybe wasn't meant to happen. When we were a Royal Enfield dealer ages ago, Royal Enfield had a 6 days. They had a version of their venerable 500cc single that they would sell you the bike, and then for an additional $1,300, you'd buy the 6 days kit. And so you had taller suspension, you had a scrambler up high exhaust pipe for it. You would switch over to a 21-inch front wheel from the 19-inch front wheel, and knobby tires.
Did they actually ride one of these things on the 6 days?
Well, if you go back in the history, yes.
Oh, like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's where it came from.
Okay.
Right.
But they weren't doing it, like, you weren't buying this to do it. Like, they didn't campaiign one.
Not in 2012.
Okay. That's what I was like, I would have loved to see that go against, like.
Right. They weren't doing, War of the Hammers or, they weren't doing that on a Royal Enfield 500 with 16 horsepower or whatever.
That's what I was like, interesting, really.
But that is the thing when we start to look back at our history like that. Remember, one of the bikes that won the 6 days consistently and got their name in the paper was a Vespa.
Right.
A fleet of Vespas. Because the idea was it was kind of a run what you brung thing. The course was unbearable, and the course did kill a lot of bikes and hurt a lot of people. But if your factory team or whatever decided it was a good idea to battle harden one of their bikes, well, Vespas were there, right? And that's Bizarro. And I'm willing to bet that if you take this particular scooter and you put some knobby tires on it, you'd probably have a lot of fun. You could probably actually go out and have a good time. And that's not the strangest thing when we watch videos of guys doing Harley Davidson Sportsters in the dirt and doing very hard trail riding on a Goldwing. So, you got the tires, you got the skill. Rock on, man.
And this isn't heavy. So, like, you know what I mean? That they have the advantage of, like, you're not dragging a Goldwing off road. It's right. It's the weight of a dirt bike.
It is. It is the weight of a dirt bike, and it's an automatic, which really lowers the bar to entrance for a whole lot of people, right?
Yep.
That's an interesting thing. And this is ADV scooter out of the box, right? The Yamaha Zuma has been an ADV scooter since day one, right? When the first Zumas came out, the part of the marketing was, hey, look, you can take this in the sand and the dirt and the gravel and whatever. And I've got a lot of friends that rocked those around
There's
the
video
desert.
of me at band camp buried up to my shoulders in mud on a Zuma because you told me to stop riding the folding bike.
Correct. The Deblasi.
Man,
The Deblasi.
this is going to happen so much. So that was when I made my like bikes list that I've owned. I forgot about my Zuma in 2008 when the power went out.
Yeah.
I had a kitted 70cc Zoomer with a nice like pipe on it and everything. It was pretty quick for what it was. But when the lights went out for 2 days straight, I was just ripping through people's front yards everywhere. It was like the best. Because who cares?
Nobody
right?
can do anything. Nobody's going to do anything about it.
Everything was up. People were outside, like having beers. It was kind of fun. We were just ripping through neighborhoods. My buddy had one, so it was like the Zuma gang just rolling.
Which is fucking tons of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is tons of fun.
Angry Bees, because it was the two-stroke Zumas.
Oh, yeah.
Not these new four-stroke wannabes. Original.
I love stuff like that. And that's really where motorcycling gets fun, is when you do, the Pete Hempfling of taking a bike that is not meant to be a touring bike and make it into a touring bike. When you take a bike that's not meant to be an off-road bike and you make it into an off-road bike. And I think that's really fucking cool. I really do, I appreciate that.
Well, and these guys, when you get to the one that we really can't get here that is awesome is the 700.
Sure.
That one actually looks like it can go a little off-road. Like it's
yeah. Well, the guy rode one in a rally, like I forget which rally, one of the big European or African rallies. The guy actually like placed on it.
Yeah. That one's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's been one in the States. This dude from France moved to Florida and somehow got it titled.
Oh, really?
And it was for sale on Adventure Rider for like $8,000. And it was back when I was like kind of I was so tempted. I'm like, man, that is so cool. It'd be like the only one in the country.
Yeah,
but
that would tempt me for sure.
yeah, it was really neat.
It's pretty cool. I mean, when it comes right down to it, I'll throw up a picture of the ADV 750. So,
that's
so
right.
folks
They
at home
bumped
can know
it.
what they are.
I think it would be badass to be like somewhere out in the woods, like in Idaho or something, and there's all these guys on Husqvarnas and KTMs and
Yeah.
DR 650s and shit. Here you come putting up on a scooter, like, hey guys,
Yeah.
tough stretch back there, huh?
Probably blasting past him because you don't have gears.
it's-
Like, "Rrr."
It's the joke about, the best off-road vehicle is the Pontiac Vibe. Once you get the wheels on it and get everything cut out, it can go anywhere the Jeep can't.
That was always our
Yeah,
thing.
see,
Traveling
that's a badass scooter,
Yeah, yeah.
dude.
There are plenty of roads where a Jeep can't go, and for that, you need a rental car.
Yep.
Yep. So that's the ADV 750, and that does, right? That does, and the muffler is pushed up out of the way, so it's not bashing around on stuff.
And it has a swing arm, so like that has to have a chain and
that-
like
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the which Camco do we have?
AK
The 550,
550.
AK 550 has the swing
Belt
arm
drive.
and the belt drive.
Yep, exactly. Right. And that's mostly for so you're not dealing with as much unsprung weight.
right.
And it makes the bike a lot more drivable, a lot more enjoyable, but that's a really cool motorcycle.
They,
I would
they make
have-
that in the Honda like racing colors too. It looks like an Africa Twin.
It does.
like an Africa Twin.
And I don't know why they don't bring it here. I swear that like a lot of people that
Hey Phil, how much does it cost to homologate a bike into the United
Way
States?
too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they don't bring it here.
But are you telling me? So here's the thing that I don't understand about that. So if it's Euro spec, what is it, Euro 5 now or something?
correct.
It's probably better than what they need for DOT. So what's
absolutely.
the problem?
So I'll talk to you about that.
I was going to say, it still costs to
So
put it through the testing.
Regardless of how clean Germany is, it could be, their Euro 5 standards are much, much more stringent than our silly EPA standards that we have here. Their version of their DOT, their TÜV, is far more strict than what we have here and more strict than our NHTSA. It doesn't matter though, because many years ago, somebody had a very dumb idea. And that was that we are not going to have reciprocity when it comes to compliance. Even though something is absolutely safe and sold in an environment that is far more strict than ours is, nope, you got to play by the American rules. And that's why we don't get a whole lot of things that other people get. Because even though their standards are higher than ours, they are different than ours. And so we then say, okay, this particular motorcycle, if Honda said, we have 4 motorcycles that we have that share the exact same motor family, meaning that motor, that family, and we've got 4 of them. And 3 of them we think are going to sell like gangbusters in the United States. Well, then they're going to go through that huge expense of doing the EPA, DOT, NHTSA testing. And DOT is just a, hey, yeah, we're doing it. But NHTSA and EPA are where it's at. They're going to pay the money to have that done. And then you're going to see a bunch of the bikes that have the same motor family pop up because they paid the money, they did the heavy lifting to get that through EPA and NHTSA. Now, in this particular application, that 750 motor that they're using in here is not a super giant platform of bikes. And somebody in their marketing department said, how many of these are we actually going to sell to Americans? And if the answer is less than 5,000, they're probably not going to go to the trouble of
I
spending
thought
the
it
money.
was the same motor as the NC 750.
And now we're going to come back to the, yes, it absolutely is, but it's not enough. So when you have a motor that is as ubiquitous as, let's say, Kawasaki versus 650 motor, well, that motor family becomes instantly, oh yeah, we're going to do the Vulcan. Now, we're not going to bring out a whole new 700cc motor for the Vulcan, which is historically a V-twin. We're going to go and we're going to use a parallel twin out of a bike that we've already spent the money to bring into the United States, because a cruiser bike does have a large audience of buyers in the United States. It's worth the time and the effort to do it, and it bleeds into your marketing strategy of, okay, there's these 4 or 5 bikes that we all use the same motor platform for. Super cool. When you've got something like this that is a very niche bike, that we know that in the United States, all you have to do, in case you're wondering, look back to see how many big ruckuses they sold. It wasn't a lot. And despite a lot of people, them getting very popular now, where people, oh, you got a big ruckus, I'd love to have one. The reason Honda tried it and then gave up on it so very quickly is because they still had brand new ones in the boxes 2 years later. It just didn't hit. It wasn't a sales monster. Well, that's what leads to how come we don't have an AD 750? Well, because clearly Americans have voted with their wallet. They've said they don't want to buy a $12,000 adventure scooter. There's other things they'd like to spend that money on.
They can market that in about 10 years when guys like myself are aging out of the ADV
That's my point.
market.
Yep.
I would think because
they can sell you a DCT and that'll be the same thing.
a lot of guys won't go to a scooter that don't want to ride anymore just because it's such a wimpy looking thing or small or whatever. But this thing, I mean, like if you rode an Africa Twin and your doctor was like, "Hey, man, you can't shift with your foot anymore" or something. Yeah, who wouldn't jump on that?
That's the one I want right there.
Well, I mean,
And that's a sticker kit, by the way. So you just buy a standard ADV 750, and this is a sticker kit that's available from bikersbits.com.
But they make one that's there, but it has the gold rims and everything.
They do?
It is so good, dude.
Yep.
It's like
conversely, you can look at what are we on, BB 500 now or 450?
450.
450?
They went down because it got faster, smaller.
The BV? The BV's 400.
Yeah.
400 now.
400. Yep.
Wasn't there? 350, 400.
350.
Okay.
And 350 just turned into a 400.
And it's looking at that, it's not got the Mantis look to it. It's just a more streamlined setup.
So how come they got rid of the BV 500 and then went to the 350 and then they're bringing it back up? Like,
Excellent question. So that 500cc motor that Piaggio used in the MP3,
yeah.
they used in the BV, over in the Aprilia side of the house, they had a Scarabeo set up the same way. That motor was a motor that Vespa's been kicking around since 2006. Really kind of a good thing.
The Quasar, right?
It's the next one.
Okay.
The Quasar is the quarter. The Q stands for quarter liter, so 250. Liter's the small one. Quasar's the middle one.
Because
and
that's not the X9 and stuff.
Correct. So the X9 used that same motor. So there's a bunch of bikes that Piaggio used that they used that motor for. Great, super cool. But it's kind of a shit. It's kind of a shit dog when it comes to fuel consumption.
Yeah.
It's not a great fuel efficient motor. Hell of a powerful motor. Not a very good fuel efficiency motor. Well, when they brought out the BV350, that motor is extremely fuel efficient, and it shares so many parts with, believe it or not, Chris's Moto Guzzi. So Chris's Moto Guzzi's fuel injection system is a part-to-part swap. So how cool is that when you can go cross-platform with something like the ECU and the fuel injection system and all that expensive items can now work in a Moto Guzzi 750 or 700. They can work in the Aprilia 850 platform. They can work in the Piaggio 350 platform. It's all the same parts. Going to save you a ton of money when you only have to build that item once.
Yeah.
You don't need to have 5 different fuel injectors. You just have one.
And you're buying it in bulk.
Yes, you're buying it in bulk.
Trick is
and from a
1,000 of them.
diagnostic standpoint is we know we plug in, we have all the stuff we need to work on it, fix it. All that's great. That's how companies make a lot more money, by being smart like that. And when we looked at the BV350 when it first came out, we're like, shit, this thing does a solid 94 miles an hour. Okay. Well, the BV500 could just crest 100.
A little more than that.
What'd you get? What was your top?
Mine was like 109.
109. That's really fucking fast for a scooter.
It's really fast.
Any way you slice it.
Yeah.
So, but for the buyers, that 93, 94 is pretty enticing.
You're talking 10 miles an hour difference. And the 350
And the bike is
was
100
sexy.
pounds lighter.
And it's sexier, too.
So the bike's 100 pounds lighter. We don't need triple disc brakes anymore. We just need 2.
and the seat, they fixed it so you're not stuck in one position with your knees slammed into
So what
the front.
happened is we made the bike lighter. We made the bike more affordable to build. We made the bike have still a very respectable 90 plus mile an hour top end, enough to get you arrested anywhere. And we gave it a lot more underseat storage area. Man, that was great. And then when they switched to the BV400, all that is a game of marketing brinksmanship. Like, oh, we've got the BV350. Well, that was a big thing compared to a BV250. Right. But as soon as they got the 300, all their buddies over in Yamaha land and Suzuki land, well, they did 400s. Well, that tyranny will not stand. We have to have a 400 too, by God. So you bring, a little bit of punch out, and you make the thing into a
thicker gasket.
You make the thing into a 366 and you call it a 400.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
But here's a great example of a bike that, boy, that's a cool looking bike, man. Nobody would hate on that. That's pretty rad. So I dig that. Now, adventure scooters, though, a lot of people are going to be talking about like, well, hold on, man. And when I said scooter, I meant some old school shit.
I think if I was riding that and I passed a Harley guy going the opposite direction, I could fool him and he'd give me that low 2-finger wave. And then he'd be ashamed of himself. He's like, I just waved at a scooter.
Dude, did you see the Africa Twin? No, that was an ADV 750.
Right.
You'd have to have a talking to. They'd have to sit him down.
Right.
Yeah,
his
do you
sergeant of
like
arms.
that patch? Do you like that
He'd
patch
have
on your
to
back?
have at least 3 Bud Lights next time I got to the bar.
So this particular little jewel is one of our friends from Minneapolis. He runs a shop, a service called Piston Ported out of Scooterville. And what he's a cut him, he bleeds Vespa 2-stroke juice, right? Vespas and Lambrettas are his jam. And so this is a bike that he's had for a number of years now. And, we'll blank out the audio. We don't want to get in any trouble for anything. It's just the sound of a 2-stroke running. So that's fine. We all like that. But so what this is a standard 2-stroke 200cc Vespa. Little touch here and, slap and tickle on the motor. But this bike is set up. He set this bike up to go play in the dirt. And you can do that. It is funny. All of our friends that have done this and put 10-inch knobby tires, and it used to be there weren't a lot of 10-inch knobby tires. You couldn't live with a 10-inch knobby bike because tire selection kind of sucked. And we just had trailer tires that we would put on everything, and they were pretty bad. But now, thanks to other bikes that are out in the world that have knobbies, this is actually a pretty damn delightful bike to use off-road. And when this particular machine, what he's doing is he's using the raffle format to put this bike in the hands of the new owner for $50. So his cat needs some surgery and decided rather than to just write a check, he was going to go ahead and raffle off his bike. And I think that's pretty cool. Pretty great way to, build up a stash of cash. And what I think is particularly cool about this bike is when you buy the bike to support the cat, you get the knobby tires and you get the street tires. So that's kind of fun. So the bike is set up with bark busters, grill guards. It's designed to be a scooter. Unlike our friend Nick, who tried to enter a basically stock rally 180 into the Hare and Hound or the Hare Scramble, this bike is actually designed to hit a tree or two, right? And I've ridden a number of my GS that I have at the shop is a 1964 Vespa GS, but it has a Rally 210 motor in it, and it's got these very same knobbies on it. And I have ridden on the trails behind band camp up on the hill, which are single track, and they're violent, and there's a lot of roots going across them. It's a very, very tough ride. I recommend drinking before you go out there. It softens you up, makes you a little more supple, bounce off the trees better. But I was shocked at how good a 2-stroke 210 does with knobbies on it, as long as you're mindful of the fact that your exhaust system is the lowest point of the bike. And to that, you're either going to reinforce that thing, put a box around it, or you're going to do a high pipe, which there are no shortage of companies that do what they call a snail pipe, an up and over pipe for these scooters. And you can do that, and then you're just not running a side panel. You just take the side panel off, and over on the left-hand side of your bike with your spare tires, you've got a nice, big, fat, tasty expansion chamber over there that's up out of the way where rocks and stones and shit can't hit it.
Right next to your leg.
Very good.
At band camp this year, me, Johnny Mac, and Nick went and we did some of those trails, and we went down into a stream and ended up like literally overlanding our little pit bikes. But Nick came with us with his Vespa.
With a Vespa.
And the best part is when we forded this stream, and it was started at about 2 inches, but it got to be about 12 before you could come out the other end. So I was on my Buscadero. It loved it. Brr. John was on whatever. I think he was on his CT70. Brr. Then you hear Nick.
Yeah, you're right. I was going to say, can you even hear him at this point?
Well, it was just gurgling.
So there is a group, and if you are so inclined and you want to do it, you can go and do the Baja 1000. Well, it's not the Baja 1000 anymore. It's called the Mexico 1000. And these are the guys you want to talk to, because any way you slice it, 1,000 miles in the desert, that's hard living, right? And these guys, well, they may have forgotten more about doing this than we're probably going to know. And I just got to say, the idea of this, it looks very fun.
Yeah.
It looks super cool. And they're having some fun. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And there's an automatic, so they're not all shifties, right? You can rock an automatic through there if you like. That looks like a good time to me. I have no
The
problem.
two-stroke ones, what do they got to bring, like 4 top ends or something? Because think about all that dirt, the dust.
You got to have, you got to be cleaning that air pretty good,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Is that a typhoon?
That is, I thought that was a typhoon.
That looks like a typhoon.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah. And so I just love that. I think that's super cool that, the guys are out there. They're rucking up on two-strokes. They're rucking up on autos. That's an ET right there. Is
that an ET?
Yeah, that's an ET.
Oh yeah, I see the horn block off.
Yeah. So, they're coming out there with a lot of weird stuff, right? But they're having a good time.
Well, you can punch an ET2 out to 70.
Dude, that is not a Typhoon. That is a freaking Primavera. Oh, that's not even an old Primavera.
Not even an old one.
That is not even an old Primavera.
I've been thinking about doing that for ages after all the wrecks keep coming in.
That
I'm like,
is not even an old bike. Nice. That is a fuel-injected modern bike.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I see the swinger, the fork's only one-sided.
Yeah, I want to see Tom do the Mexican 1000.
Let's go.
Can we make this happen?
No, I cannot make this happen.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Phil.
We will need to have the correctly totaled out bike. Meaning I get it for $0.
Phil and Becky have actually plotted to make sure I don't do anything that damages me.
Yeah. His productivity drops dramatically in a wheelchair. Yeah. 2 wrist casts. Productivity goes to 0.
Listen, I'll follow with video, and that'll alone will be worth it.
Or you could just follow these guys who are already doing it.
Yeah, I've been
They're
told.
not Tom doing it.
I've been told no.
We're gonna make somebody wear a Tom shirt.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah.
Then we can take bets whether or not he's going to make it, when he doesn't make it. Like,
The part of Tom will be played by played by somebody else.
Somebody who's done it a bunch of times. Yeah.
Trust me, I would be in on this, but if I get hurt, it's over.
It's very fun. I mean, the whole idea of adventure scooters, it's a thing. People do it. And I'll be the first to tell you that when you're looking at some of these things, we're talking about a total of an investment of about $600.
Oh yeah.
Right. This is somebody's untitled, super badly crashed Vespa with knobbies on it and probably a hastily assembled exhaust mount.
Yeah.
Just make the exhaust go somewhere else.
After seeing that Primavera, it brought back because part of the lead in for this evening was what our things would be.
Mm-hmm.
Our
scooters. What would your choice be?
What
would your choice as an off-road thing be? Right.
And after seeing that Primavera, I got a couple ideas.
Yeah. Oh man. Again, I'm not going to roll this. I'm not going to roll this out on the main thing because we're going to get in trouble for, the YouTubies. So I'll just bring it out so we can see it, just because it is just one of these things where you're going, that guy's got either a brain injury or balls as big as church bells, because there ain't no way in the world I would be trying to do tabletops and shit on a Vespa 150. But somebody here decided it was going to be a really good idea. So that's showing you what you're supposed to do. You have the dirt bike. And then things are going to digress rapidly. And that's,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any chance in the world that you're going to catch me out in these dunes and these steps and everything else, thinking like, Primavera is the right tool for the job.
There's a good use for a Bieber.
No, that is a Bieber. That has got to be a freaking Bieber.
It's got the black seat.
It's got a British license plate on it too. But but again, Vespa's got a certain quantity of unloved Justin Bieber 150s out there. But that to me looks like a bad day.
After seeing the Soka videos, Pascal, I don't know if you caught that or not, but Soka's got a bunch of crazy stuff that makes that bike look amazing. The yellow wheels and stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh yeah,
all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, that's when you got the wrong tool for the job.
Exactly.
Right? I'm sure Pete's done that once or twice.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
There's nowhere a 12-inch knobby can't go. Well, I'm pretty sure there's a few places.
Apparently this sand dune can't go up.
Yeah, this sand dune's really making this guy hate his life right now.
I mean, sand's not fun on a dirt bike.
No, it's not fun on anything. It's not fun on any damn thing.
Unless you're the guys that are comfortable doing like 97 where you're like floating over the sand.
Wrestling a 300-pound Primavera is probably not a good day.
It's probably a really bad day.
In sinking at the same time.
Right. Yeah. So that's pretty, that's an idea. That's something that you might want to consider if you desperately need to put your fucking Vespa in the dirt, I guess. You won't see me out there. I have no desire to do it. I would do it, once on the wrong bike and I'd hurt it and myself most likely. Yep, probably.
Yeah, this is not the tool for this.
I like that this guy's got the full Revit suit.
Yeah.
I was going to say the thing. He's got an ADV helmet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely plot committed. The
Nope.
We got good
He's
stuff.
going back
okay,
at it.
it's okay. We're gonna have another. I got another one for you to show you guys. So Sleepy's fond of the Buscadero,
Yeah.
right?
I love
so
it.
I found your bike.
Oh.
I found your scooter.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
that-
Oh yeah, there was
Oh, yeah.
that one went for auction, didn't it?
Look at that
Yeah.
center suspension system.
Yeah.
That looks so intriguing. That's the first thing I've seen yet. There, I was like, no, that's probably going to be able to boogie around a little bit. It is essentially, the wheels off of a 12-inch SSR.
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing there is going to be, setting new land speed records in the dirt.
It looks like a Honda monkey raped a Vespa.
It sure does.
like that.
Yeah.
Bastard
It
child.
has a strong hint of so I got these two things over here and we're going to push them together real hard. But yeah, that's
I
definitely.
mean, think about it. Look, you get leg shields to keep
I
the
lied.
mud
That's a
off
10-inch. That is a 10-inch wheel on the back and a 12-inch wheel on the front.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
giddy up. Does look like a good time though, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And it's even got the sleepy paint scheme on it.
It does.
Yeah, I dig it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Who
cool.
did that? What's the guy?
It's a Russian confabulation called Dirtbag Garage or something.
Okay.
What is it called? Butcher Garage.
That's it.
Butcher Garage.
I knew I'd seen it before. I just couldn't remember the name on it.
Yeah, I mean that looks like fun. We can play around with that.
Gives me
That's
ideas.
that pipe you were just talking about too, huh?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's you just take apart. The cool thing about expansion chambers, if you're not scared, is anywhere they've got a weld, you can make a cut. And so anywhere they got a weld, you can make a cut, and then you can rotate it.
Yeah.
Your expansion chamber theory doesn't change, but your orientation does. So if you buy a well-designed, you could buy a kit and make your own expansion chambers if you're good at welding and have a bunch of time. If you're mediocre at welding, you can buy somebody else's pre-made exhaust and then just start chopping and rotating. And I've done that. I've had pipes that wouldn't fit on one bike that I cut, rotated, and made fit on a different bike. So in expansion chambers are the difference between, hey, this two-stroke is really fun, and holy shit.
Yeah.
Because an expansion chamber on a two-stroke, a correctly designed one, will double its power.
Yeah.
So that's
If you ever pull up and look on, you probably know all this, but for me, I was always wondering how that worked.
Yep.
And there's a whole bunch of explanation videos on there, and it's pretty fucking amazing that
Called the
it's
cadence cycle.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It is one of those things. And again, I know I've said this before. I'll say it again. There is a book called Two-Stroke Tuning by A. Graham Bell. He's one of the guys that was on the team for Kenny Roberts and all these, his big thing was all the Yamahas, the 350s and 400s. But he goes into extraordinary detail talking about the 4 different parts of an expansion chamber and how lengthening and shortening each one of them can radically change. And we were talking earlier about dyno tuning and how that guy's an artist with the dyno tuner.
Yep.
Well, imagine if instead of pressing a button, he had to cut something, weld it, and put it back together again longer.
Right.
Wow. So you better have your science together before you do it the first time, unless you want to do it a lot of times.
I kind of started phasing out when I was reading that about when I started getting into power valves.
Yeah.
Like, man, no.
Yeah. Well, and that is Yamaha that I had many, many years ago had a power valve. And I was like, power valve, tell me more about the power valve. And what the power valve, all it is that when your throttle position pulls that cable, it changes the length of one part of your expansion chamber. It opens a door to allow the gases to go somewhere they weren't going before, which changes your tuned length. And so a pipe that is very good at 10,000 RPM is usually really bad at 2,500 RPM. Well, having a power valve in there creates an extra volume of space for that expansion, for that exhaust blast to go. And it's funny because it's an auditory signal. And that's what kills me, is it's an actual sound wave. And it's a sound wave that goes out, and how you bounce that sound wave back means it's going to grab the charge and pull it with it. What? You mean it's a sonic turbo? Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. Instead of grabbing on a vacuum, it's grabbing on a sound wave.
Power pulse.
It's amazing.
Yep.
It really is something. And the deeper that you get into it, the more exciting it is, because you're like, wow, I've ridden all kinds of different motorcycles. And if I go, well, this bike is really great the way that it is, and then I ride somebody else's that is terrifying, then I'm like, what's the big change? Well, yeah. The difference between the factory branded expansion chambers I had on my Kawasaki H2 versus the fast by gas handmade expansion chambers I had on my H2 was about 1.5 seconds in the quarter mile, which is a hell of a change for an item that you can just literally bolt on.
Well, that's what, back when I had Rider for Life, and we used to sponsor Woody Death Rage. He was like Team Suzuki guy and stuff. But his career, he started racing two-strokes and everything. And so he was telling us how they'd have different pipes for different tracks.
Yes, absolutely.
So like you'd have to have top end for one. So like you're saying, the pipe would be longer and stuff. And then for the shorter tracks with the more punchy stuff, same thing, fatter or whatever. But it would literally change the tune of the bike.
I was young and stupid, and I thought my bike sounded really good with the silencers taken off because the silencers were held on by a clamp bolt, and I had a leather jacket, and I could take the silencers off of the H2 and slide them into my inside pockets of my leather jacket and go rip through the park with no silencers on. And it sounded awesome. What I did not know, though, is those silencers are part of the Stinger, and that does change the way the exhaust pulses work. And I was wondering why the bike just sounded cool, but it really didn't run very well with those silencers removed. So now we've got something that changes dramatically just based on the baffling. The baffling at the end of the exchange, by the way, we would all think the reverse cone has done its job. The reverse cone has done its job. The forward cone has done its job. And now the party's over and it just needs to leave through the Stinger and make as little noise as possible and not catch the woods on fire. No, it turns out there's actually some tuning there.
So when you get to things like, so if you take the Van's original motor, that pipe is like, there is no, it's just a thing. So like, they just didn't tune it for anything. It was just kind of like, hey, it works.
They worked with what they had to work with.
Yeah.
When you look at all of those, and when we're at Mid-Ohio and you see a two-stroke Suzuki from 1973, and it's making the horrible sounds it's making, is because the Stinger and the silencer broke off. They didn't survive. Or the previous owner was like, I'm going to make it faster, and I'm going to do a pipectomy and take it off. But what's left in those is a expansion chamber that's been smooshed, so it'll fit under your right leg.
Right.
So they took a regular expansion chamber and they smooshed it.
Okay.
Well, all the tuning went to hell.
Yeah.
Because you can't just smoosh it, because you lose all that echo chamber. It's really an interesting thing.
This is also applicable to four strokes, because you idiots out there hacksawing your fucking mufflers off are not doing yourself anything favor.
Oh, and into every explosion that operates via valves, there will be a point where you will cut that pipe and you will lose any amount of back pressure that you ever had. And back pressure is actually there for a reason. If you want the valves in the motor to do the job they're supposed to do, that the factory designed them to do, there should be some back pressure there.
Well, that's interesting. So like on my Aprilia, it has basically like what I would call the XUp system, but whatever they call it, same kind of thing. So when you're at idle, it pulls this valve shut and it gives you more back pressure. And then when you open it up, well, mine, the things were disconnected kind of haphazardly. It was something I would have never have known to look for this until like you get whatever. Yep. So I'm like, okay, now let's unfuck this. So I'm starting to rethink, but he had the map programmed for the rapes map. And like people that say that,
I'm sorry, what?
He had the ECU program with the race map.
I said
that it takes.
All right. He had the Italian tuning.
No, I thought you said rapes map, and I was like, I didn't know they had a map for that.
No, Aprilia race map.
Okay, now
but
I got
here's
it.
the thing. To your point, so the slip-on, it asks for what kind of slip-on you have.
Okay.
And then like literally, so everybody's like, oh, dude, slip-on doesn't matter. They're all the same. You don't have to retune it.
It's not true.
Well, because depending on how free-flowing your slip-on is, whatever, it actually sends the tune. And so with the tune for that slip-on, you actually disconnect those things because it just remains open the whole time. Yeah. So, but you don't want to disconnect the servo because that'll throw codes and stuff. So you'll leave the servo there. You just take the wires.
So the servo's just hanging out in the wind.
It just went.
And it's just moving.
It just wings like this.
So it just goes. Zzz, but then the race map shuts it off.
Yeah. Okay,
but the ECU has to say, is it there?
Yeah.
So you can buy a $158 plug to plug in the end of it, and then you can take the servo off, or you can just leave the servo on and you hear it go zzz, zzz, and you still have 28 ounces on your bike.
Yeah.
That or whatever it weighs.
Dude, that is awesome. That's great. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, I love that idea. Somebody's going, well, this is all here. Right. This is just all here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also just rig that little valve up, that little arm, so that it could raise a pretty flag. So like, so every time it would be engaged, a little flag goes up. Yeah, a little flag. Maybe on the back of your bike.
Plays like Italian songs.
Yeah, right. Right. Just, we have energy. It's going there anyway. Let's put it to use. Maybe it can be, something special, extra. Yeah. active downforce.
Dude, that would be kind of cool
Active
though,
aero.
for the 360 cam mount. So as you go faster, it pulls it up higher. Like, you know,
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea.
yeah. Anyways,
Oh, that's pretty fun. I like that.
hey, it's robot.
It's Robot. Well, it's Robot's talking about their bike that they set up for the NORA, the 1000 Baja race team. So Tutto Mondo. So that's a bike that they did 2 years ago, a bike that they set up specifically just to go play in the dirt, just to go down through the Baja. Right? Pretty rad. So yeah, I like stuff like that. That's super cool. So the team of Chris and Pete have had yet another adventure. A week doesn't go by that they haven't had some sort of adventure to tell us about. Lay it on us, guys. Where'd y'all go?
Chris, go ahead.
So a cop stops a car with 2 priests riding in it. And the cop says, I'm looking for 2 child molesters. Priests look at each other and says, well, we'll do it.
That wasn't the question, though.
I don't think this is where we were going with this conversation, but okay.
No, he just wanted to get it in early. He had a good one, and he didn't want to this
wanted
podcast running too long. I'm getting out of here.
He couldn't hold it. He couldn't hold
Deliver
it
the
anymore.
joke
He wanted
early.
to slip it in. I get it.
That's it.
So I'll tell you, since Chris is telling jokes, he's doing his act. Chris, I don't know if you folks know, but he owns a Janus motorcycle. And
Really?
yeah, you may. I don't know if he's ever mentioned that, but he had to take it out to Goshen, Indiana, to have some fancy fenders put on it. So we took a ride out on Monday, Labor Day. We rode from Cleveland to Goshen, Indiana, with only one small detour where a bridge was out.
Oh,
What was it, 270 miles getting out there? or something?
Yeah, and Pete was willing to try to get through the out bridge, but
Oh, I was going to go over that bridge, but I didn't think my friend Chris was going to make it. They had the deck laid on the bridge, but there
Okay.
was about a 1 foot step up on the front where you had to get from dirt over
hell of
some,
a transition.
over some rebar and whatnot. And,
Absolutely a hell of a transition.
so I said, well, we'll just go downriver. We'll head south until we come to the next bridge, and that's where we'll cross. But the next bridge was close to 10 miles downriver.
Damn straight, really?
Well, we didn't look at the map.
Okay.
Like we had,
'Cause the map-
we had phones, we had GPS, we had all kinds of stuff. There was another bridge about a mile north of where the first bridge was out, but we had a nice detour. And we got out to Indiana on Monday night, had a nice dinner at a Mexican restaurant, and
Always a good idea.
parked the
I saw the bikes went into the hotel room.
parked the bikes in the room. We had
Pretty
a
cool.
very sizable room. That rolled the bikes right in, and then the next morning we were at.
well, Pete, what were you riding?
I rode the Hunter Cub.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Traveled very well. We'd planned the route ahead of time on Rever to avoid any interstate. Well, of course, no interstates, but we even stayed off 2-lane highways for the most part. We just county roads, a little bit of gravel here. and
Farm roads.
Farm roads,
there.
yeah.
And
Well, that's cool. And what kind of fender? What did you do to upgrade your bike?
I bought their out with ducktail fenders.
Okay. Yeah.
So I upgraded the ducktail fenders, and then Pete checked out the rear tires. Well, as long as you're out here.
yeah, the rear wheel was off the bike. I said, "Hey, I'm throwing a new tire on." Chris had like 7,000 miles on his bike.
Oh,
or
wow.
something. I was like, throw a new tire on there too.
Oh, really?
So while the wheel was off, they put a new tire on, and he was probably down. He probably used up about 3/4 of that old tire. So
Good. Yeah, the timing was right.
yeah, exactly.
Did you stick to that traditional tread pattern, that Firestone style? Yeah. Cool.
Yep. So we got there Tuesday morning, and they said, "Well, look, why don't you take a few bikes out?"
Mhm.
So go ahead, Pete.
No, that's what they said. It's going to take us a couple of hours to do the work on your bike, Chris. You guys want to take a couple of the other bikes out and just go for a putt in the countryside? So I chose the Griffin 250, which is like a scrambler dirt bikey style, and Chris rode the 450.
I'm going to throw that up because it's so cool. I've been just fascinated with this whole the 450 project. I think it's a cool looking bike.
fuel injected.
That's really, and full rear suspension. There's a lot going on. Disc brake front, disc brake back. There really is a lot happening with this bike.
How was it, Chris?
It was fantastic. Yeah. I mean, and it's the second time I've ridden it.
Yeah.
First time I rode it, I was underimpressed, but the one that I was on Tuesday just was smooth as hell, and had a lot of throttle. it's just a very, very attractive bike, but mechanically just was flawless. So I was very,
How's
very
the
happy
suspension?
to be on it. And that's interesting you say that, because when I rode up with Pete from Cleveland to Goshen, I'm on a hardtail, right? So every now and then it's like, ooh, you know. Yeah. Well, this thing, we went over some tracks and stuff like that, and I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty comfortable.
Rear suspension, what a concept.
Yeah, no grunts, no
Well, yeah, you got
kidney injuries.
You got a springy seat and rear suspension.
Yeah,
between
double
the two.
suspension, right?
Yeah. So
I mean, they did nail, like, your bike's beautiful. I'm not going to deny that. But this makes, I got a tickle in the wiener on this one.
You know,
Settle down.
Chris's other bike, one of Chris's other bikes is the Drifter.
Uh-huh.
And I love that bike so much that he loaned it to me. And I've been riding it, enjoying it quite a bit. And the other day he asked to borrow his own bike. So he came by the shop. I had to ride it in. He came by. I thought the bike was going to be relocated. I'd said my farewells.
Yeah.
And then Chris brought it back several hours later. He's like, oh no, I had to get a taste of it. That was it. But that's a motorcycle that they make an 800cc version of, and they make a 1500cc version of, a small one and a big one. And they're aesthetically, when you look at them, if you know what you're looking at, there are ways you can look at them and identify immediately whether the bike's a 1500 or an 8. I've ridden many of the 1500s, and I've ridden 2 of the 800s. And in this particular situation, I absolutely love the 800. And the 1500 to me is just another Street Glide.
Yeah.
It's another big, heavy V-twin. Whereas the 800 is extremely light. And it handles like it's extremely light. It may weigh whatever it weighs, I don't know. But when it's under me and I'm riding it around, it is as effortless as anything else. I mean, it's just a very simple bike to ride. And I think that in this situation, where we have 2 bikes that are different motors, different, you know, if you know what you're looking for, it's very easy to tell the difference between the 450 and the 250. But I think on these 2 particular bikes, in this case, I do like the aesthetic of the bigger bike. I think, to me, seeing that rear suspension on that swinging arm, I really like that. I like the magic of this bike is the more parts of it you can see, the better it looks. So the more things that you can see it doing, the more satisfied your brain is.
And it wouldn't be out of place sitting next to like a WLA or something like that. Like, it's kind of like that. It's gone from the 20s to kind of like the 30s-ish, if you will.
Yeah, and I think that one of the original sins of the first, the 50cc Janus bikes was the motor looked so weird and out of place and wrong in this beautiful architecture. And then the 250 came out, and the 250 was like, okay, you know, it's okay. Somehow they made this 450, whether it's the use of the bronze colored paint or like these non-traditional finishes, it looks better.
Yeah, it looks like it's part of the bike now.
It does start to be like, yeah, that's the motor that's supposed to be in there. Yeah. Now, maybe my eye has just gotten used to seeing it, but, you know, they've tastefully hidden the battery. They've tastefully hidden the fuel injector, right?
Well, you know, Chris, your
the oil cooler doesn't bother me, you know?
Your bike, I thought it got way better looking when you changed the pipes out. Like when you went from like the stock pipe to the more pipes like this. Like it was just that pipe. It gave it almost legitimate. Like it changed it from like, that motor like something. It doesn't look like a Chinese motor anymore. It looks like a real motor. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Just to me, that pipe changed everything. When you got the tips and the big thing on the side.
Oh, those shark fins.
Yeah.
Those
fishtails.
The fishtails. They look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look cool. That's a proper period item on that. I think it makes the bike look really nice.
Yeah, me too.
So Pete and I jump on these 2 bikes, and we go, 20 miles east to a town called Shipshewana. They're renowned for their
there's a large flea market there.
So we just pull into the Shipshewana flea market because Pete wants to get a pretzel.
I had been
They
to
have
the
the
Shipshewana.
best friggin' pretzels I've ever eaten in my whole entire life.
Yep. I gotta say, I'm standing by it.
You're going to stand by it?
Yep.
So
At the Shipshewana flea market.
yeah. So we pull in there. Of course, we go around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did we pull in?
Yeah, we go up over a curb and down the back road. And
And why did we go that way?
Because they were charging like $30 to park or something.
They were charging $5 to park. And I said, I'm not putting $5 on the top of a $6 pretzel. I said, follow me, Chris. So we circumvented the gate entry.
So we found a place to park the bikes, kind of off the main drag or whatever, the walkway, and so we go get the pretzel. We come back. There's got to be like 5 or 6 guys standing around looking at the bikes, and they got their phones out. They're taking photos. So we're sitting there talking to these guys. So Pete and I hung around for probably
We were there an hour.
yeah, I was gonna say 45 minutes.
With your pretzels.
No, fuck
Well,
no.
the pretzel
no.
was gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that Ben's pretzels?
That is
no,
Ben's?
that's JoJo's. That's not. That's not the
Ben's?
real deal. No.
Okay. Oh, wait. So
Oh, no.
And on
So
Tuesday
hold
she
on.
does that topless.
she's Amish, man. Back off.
I heard about them Amish.
So you said JoJo's is not the real deal.
No, Ben's pretzels.
Ben's is the real deal.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So I thought the red one was Ben's.
Oh, she's tying her stuff in or not.
We
down
eat
there.
the pretzel in 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to answer some questions about the bikes because there's all these guys getting led around the nose at the flea market by their wives who are looking at whatever, the candles and
Right.
quilts and whatever.
It's a flea market.
Milk pails and shit like that.
Butter churns.
The guys on these bikes were like flies on a rib roast, is all I can say.
Really?
There were so many guys just gravitating towards those bikes, and they were all scratching their heads like, what am I looking at here? A couple of like the sharp-eyed guys said, it's got disc brakes.
Right,
And
yeah.
Chris is like, it's a modern bike. And they're like, but it looks so cool and old. And then so we were only 20 miles from Goshen, and there's Ben's. And we told these people they're made 20 miles down the road. And Chris was like a brand ambassador
Yes,
there.
absolutely.
And we
Throw your leg over it. Come on.
yeah. Chris
Take a
is
seat.
having people sit on
working
it.
on
No,
commission.
especially it
Start
wasn't
it
even
up.
your bikes. You're like, hey,
No,
take
they
it for a
weren't.
ride.
Well, that's even better, right? Yeah.
I got to tell you. So people are just really geeked about it, and I was disappointed that I didn't have any brochures to pass out because normally Janus will give you a whole handful of brochures.
Yeah.
And we could have been responsible for
Doubling their sales.
for the day.
Right.
But
20 miles away, it makes you wonder why Janus doesn't have a booth at the Goshen Flea Market.
So Pete goes back there. Go ahead, Pete.
We go back and I said, who's your marketing guy here? The guy comes out and
Apparently, it's Pete Hemfling.
I told him, I was like, you guys are missing a huge opportunity. I said, I use the same words, like flies on a rib roast.
Yeah.
I told the guy, I said, we parked those bikes there to get a pretzel.
Out in the sun, though.
Oh, they were parked on the gravel and the sun was shining. The bike Chris was riding was black and the one I was riding was like a desert tan. And they really popped, like where we had them sitting. And they just were attention getters. And for an hour, there was guys, I'm pretty sure if we would have stayed there all day, there would have been a steady stream of guys looking at them all day. And I told these guys, like, it's 20 miles down the road for you guys. Send somebody up there that is knowledgeable about the machinery and just have them sit there and answer questions. I said, it's going to turn into sales. And they're like, wow, I never even thought of that. It's
And they can have a pretzel.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, not for nothing. I paid a lot of money for a lot of booth space in a lot of places in my life. And that Shipshewana flea market is a monster. And so why not send one of your crew up there?
Or even just a box with like a glass or some kind of a trailer with the box in it, with the bike in it, with like an explanation like, hey, we make this down the street. Local people, local stuff, come down and see us. Like,
And the people we were talking to, Chris started asking, oh, where are you from? And there were people from Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio. People are traveling to come to this flea market.
Right.
And now they've got brand awareness of your product. And
it's local.
And you send them over. That's why I said have a pre-printed card.
And, a big part of their wrap is Amish-made detail items on the bike. And what I've seen looking at these pictures of the Shipshewana flea market is no shortage of Amish-run booths. So when I'm looking at the images from Shipshewana, it's featured pretty heavily is that they at least have identified themselves as being part of Amish country. That guy in the hat is not role-playing. I don't think he's cosplaying. Pretty sure he's the deal.
And the ride from Shipshewana to Goshen or vice versa is drop dead gorgeous. You're going through these farms, like horse farms, Amish farms, it's a nice ride.
Cornfields, bean fields.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the kind of thing that you'd want to miss out on too much, right? I feel like that would be something that you'd want to lean into, especially if it's 20 miles away. I mean, 20 miles away is...
And I'll tell you, these guys, I was talking to Pete, I said, how many dealerships or manufacturers just say, well, just jump on a bike and go out and buzz around on it. I mean, nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
No. There you go. Just
Nobody does
go out east or west and circle. We'll see you back in a couple of hours.
Yeah,
Right.
we put 50 miles on our bike, 50, 60 miles on them. And by the time we got back to Goshen, there ran another couple there that wanted to talk about the bikes. And,
Yeah.
we didn't get out there till 1 o'clock. So we left to come back to Cleveland. We left Goshen, Indiana at 1 o'clock and then ended up getting home at
8:30.
8:30 at night. Yeah. Just as it was getting dark. So we did 520 miles, I think, in 2 days. Because
That's pretty great.
yeah. It was, and the weather was perfect. It was like 73 degrees both days, all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Little headwind the first day, but not too bad. We stopped at a place on the way out, Lake Hamilton or Hamilton Lake or something.
Yeah, Hamilton. Yeah.
And Chris gets his water bottle out. He's drinking from, he's one of these stainless steel water bottles. He sets it on a picnic bench or something.
A post. Yeah, just take
then
a
we-
run down and take a leak.
We
Come back up, jump on the bikes. We get back to the hotel, or we get to the hotel. And I said, "Where's my fucking water bottle?"
and I said, I bet it's still sitting on that post back at Lake Hamilton.
I like the way you acknowledged that he put it on the post enough to remember it hours later.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah. But didn't remind him to get his water bottle when you were getting on the bike.
No.
So it
I
was
didn't.
in the data bank. It was there.
I forgot it, right. But
Yeah.
then, so on the way back, we're like, let's go see if that water bottle's still sitting there.
Oh.
And goddamn if it wasn't. It was sitting right where he left it.
Oh, that's pretty
Right on the
cool.
fucking post.
I like it.
24 hours later.
That's pretty rad.
Nice.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
We found a gas station that knew exactly how to piss off Pete
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
in Goshen.
Uh-oh.
Was that in Goshen? Oh, yeah. That's right when we got there. Yeah.
Oh, what'd they do?
I was getting a little peckish. I hadn't eaten for a little while.
Okay.
It's like I'm scanning my card and it keeps declining it. And then it says insert it. I insert it. And so I pull it out and then it declined again. Like 14 times I'm going through this. Like, I'm like punching the buttons, like literally punching the buttons.
Right.
And we finally made the pump work. But I told Chris, you want to aggravate me or you want to piss me off?
Yeah.
Aggravate me when I'm trying to spend my money. That's
Right.
like-
Make it more hard
Yeah.
for me to do something I don't like doing anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. This is at my core. This is driving me crazy because I desperately do not want to give these people any money whatsoever, let alone make it tough to do it.
I just want to buy gas.
Right.
I want to swipe my card. I want to fill up the tank. I want to drive off.
Should be easy.
I'm not coming in to give you the card. It's like, no. But anyhow, it worked eventually. Chris noted that I was a little
A little
aggravated.
pissy.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little. Yeah.
A little pissy.
So Vespa's doing a promotion that we're just gonna call $1,000 on your trade. That's all we're gonna do. You can figure it out, right? It's not a complicated promotion. But what it has done though is it has truly brought the people out of the woodwork. The real bargain hunters. The real bargain hunters. The people that understand a deal. And what they've done is they've decided to push the limits of this promotion. And I've given up on fighting them. I'm not going to fight them anymore. I'm just going to say this. If it has a title and it's in your name, you can leave the fucking piece of shit bike at home. I don't want to see it. I don't want it. I don't want to go move it. I don't want to get tetanus. I don't want to do anything to risk my life to get this stupid motorcycle from you. But what I will say is we got a Harley in on trade. And the Harley we got in on trade is a 1973 Harley Davidson. And it is an XLH, which it'll be important later. It doesn't have a Kickstarter.
King and queen seat.
It's very deluxe.
I'm chuckling to myself thinking of the fact that all those years of people telling us, watching us ride our Vespas, hey, you need to get a real bike like a Harley.
Ooh, boy, I'm
Here
gonna
we go.
tell you. Yeah, this is really a time capsule. And the time capsule I'm talking about in particular is the kind of a time capsule when you go back in time and realize how dumb our ancestors were.
You have to realize everybody was on a lot of fucking Quaaludes at this point in time.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. But
Disco was kind of at its height right here.
I don't think so. 73,
75?
No, especially.
This is Led Zeppelin 2.
Yes,
right?
this is Led Zeppelin 2. That is exactly right. This motorcycle is the Allman Brothers Band, this motorcycle.
Leonard Skinner.
Bad drugs.
This is Leonard Skinner.
Bad drugs and fringe leather.
This bike is a perfect example of what the guys that were coming to my dad's house in 1980 were riding, But a couple of things about the motorcycle.
All I can think of is the phrase "get your motor running" on repeat over and over in my head.
Exactly
you
what
don't
they were
actually
talking
get
about.
it running. You have that phrase repeated over and over.
Exactly what they're talking about. But I will tell you that when somebody says, I'm considering getting a Harley, well, the first piece of bad advice when somebody says, I'm considering getting a Harley, somebody would say, don't get a Sportster, they're girls' bikes, right? When you hear that from somebody, at least in my world, when I hear that, I cringe because it's fucking awful. And this motorcycle is one of the most cantankerous, brute force required motorcycles that I have operated in 20 years. The first thing of all is I'd like to remind you, if you know how to ride a motorcycle, that's cool. Because on this one, they've conveniently moved the shifter over to the wrong side.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
So they've moved the shifter over to the wrong side of the beast. Now, just in case to give you the maximum opportunity to fuck that up, they've left the clutch where it used to be. So in a lot of British motorcycles that I've ridden in my life, they move things around. And it's okay that they move things around because it's a different motorcycle. And honestly, the more shit they move around, the easier it is for me to remember what bike I'm on. It's not like being confused by a heel-toe shifter that's on Chris's bike, but not on mine, right? But this, on the other hand, braking in a hurry is something you might need to do on this motorcycle. Why? Well, the clutch isn't exactly predictable. It has a lot of torques. It's 1,000 cc's, a very lumpy 1,000 cc's, and it was kind of engineered to make only 57 horsepower, but a metric shit ton of torques. Now, so pushing down hard with your right foot in case of panic will not make this motorcycle go slower. It won't make it go any faster. It also won't drop it magically down into the next gear like my Norton did, which is bad in its own way. This transmission in this motorcycle can only be operated when you intend to, with a very strong leg, and with the correct matching of revs. Because I'm convinced that the clutch in this motorcycle quit being where the clutch needs to be 30 years ago. So when the clutch is fully pulled in and I've adjusted the cable both ways from Sunday, there's going to be some more things that need to happen to that clutch to make it work right. No matter how hard you pull the clutch in and you put the bike in first gear, it's creeping. It's creeping. It's pulling forward on you. And you might think, well, I'm going to go ahead and grab that front brake and stop this shit. No, this motorcycle has been blessed by one of the most ineffective front disc brakes I've ever met in my life. I can hold this motorcycle back with my feet better than this disc brake can hold the motorcycle. Did I mention it's electric start only? So that means if you don't get the bike started in your third or fourth try, the battery has depleted itself enough that you're probably not going to spin the starter enough to get the Bendix to kick out, and you're probably just going to make fizzy noises, and the motor's not going to start. Now, about that battery. The battery in this bike is huge. I would say lawn tractor, but I've never seen a lawn tractor battery this big before. And it's a special battery. It has little flat metal terminals that come out of the top sides. So it can fit under the very specific Harley-Davidson battery box. So any normal sized small car battery, which has terminals on the top, cannot be used on this. As elsewise, it will weld itself to the frame of the motorcycle. That's where the frame is. And metal parts are strangely good at moving electrical current. So you got to have kind of a special battery. This is a $200 Moto battery in this thing. And you got about 5 attempts before the amperage is low enough that it's not real happy. Did I mention you can't kickstart it? Now, you could bump start it, but again, you got to be able to get it into second gear while your girlfriend's pushing you and get the clutch out and not just drag that rear tire into a ditch, like creating a trough with the back tire. Once running, it idles magically. It doesn't have a choke. It's got a pumper carb. It didn't take me that much. We've been walking past this bike for what, 4 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Month or so.
Yeah, well, this guy came in, he said, well, all I have to trade in is a 1973 Harley-Davidson XLH 1000. And I went, I'm really not interested. But I do like selling Vespas. So a deal was struck, and this bike came into my life on a day when I wasn't at the shop, and it's probably a good thing I wasn't at the shop, because I probably would have tried to start it that day. An old iron head like this can be either a good bike or a bad bike. Well, the other day I put it in my head I was going to charge the battery. And I went out in the hallway and I proceeded to realize the accelerator pump ain't fucking around. So when you open that Pingle fuel control valve and you give that thing 4 or 5 squirts, you can see the gasoline coming out of the airbox. It's putting a lot of gas in there. It did start. It did fire. I was able to find an idle pretty damn quickly.
It puked all over the floor.
It peed, well, because that was all the extra gas I put in the airbox. Wasn't sure. I was like, where's the choke? And I'm like, oh, that's right. This doesn't have a choke. I'm looking at a pumper on the side of the car.
It has an elf throwing gas to the engine.
It has a valve that if you hooked it to a super soaker, when you hit the throttle, it would shoot gas across the showroom. It's got a legitimately effective pump for just being a little diaphragm pump, little plunger pump. But once started, once coaxed out onto the road, because I was fearful, but not fearful enough to put on shoes and pants. Yes, I was wearing Crocs and shorts and an OSHA-rated T-shirt.
So typically what a Sportster rider would wear.
Yeah.
Wait, did you do, like when I moved that thing from one area to another, the handlebars moved about 2 inches aft and forward.
Correct.
Okay.
They're mounted on inner tubes.
So one of the vibration dampening methods of Harley-Davidson was to create a rubber interface between the stems that hold the handlebars on and the triple.
I think said rubber has since taken vacation.
It's just typical.
Oh, no, it is. So I tried the bolts that are going in. They're like giant, ridiculous heads on the bolts. It's like an inch and a quarter head, but the bolt itself is only like 7/16.
Sure.
So it's designed to be broken off. Yeah. But I tightened it as far as I was willing to tighten it, and they were still like 2.5 inches of free play.
Yeah.
There's like 4 bathtub drain corks holding those handlebars onto the triple tree.
You have to get some hockey pucks, drill them out, and just stick them in there.
Well, for what it's worth,
they're tapered like and little rubber donuts that fit right into. I've changed so many of those.
Those handlebars aren't going to fall off.
No,
and those bolts aren't going to accidentally back out.
No.
But what is happening is it's just going to be a horrible, unsecure riding position.
They're floating in space.
Until you put some proper bushings in there. And you know all about bushings.
Yes.
From your experience with the Springer. So I coaxed it out onto Lorraine Road in fucking, of course, when did I do it? Rush hour. Sure, why not? Just be stupid.
Kids are getting picked up from school.
Just be dumb.
The crackhead's screaming at the bus because the bus is late.
Just be dumb. Just go out and ride at the worst possible time in high traffic area. Did I mention, it's got shotgun pipes on it.
Dunkin' Donuts are trying to get, the other half of the traffic pulled into Dunkin' Donuts.
So dumb that I did it when I did it. So I got away from the main street and I got back by the cemetery and stuff. I was riding around there. It was a little more chill. And I never, not once, ever got the sequence of first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, back down through, find neutral. I'm still looking for neutral, by the way. I may have left it out on the road somewhere. I can't fucking find it. I couldn't even find it when I was back at the shop, putting it in the garage. I was sitting there, turned the fuel tap off, and I was like, well, I'm just going to let the thing run out of gas because I don't like my shop to smell bad. So I turned the fuel tap off, and the whole time it was depleting its fuel supply, I was trying to find neutral. And I mean, with no small amount of... I can find neutral. I've been riding a motorcycle for a day or two. This thing was unfucking findable until you were at about 600 RPM just pending stall. And then when the motor got that low that it was just pending stall, right into neutral. It is the opposite of the Kawasaki transmission.
Yeah.
Second gear is never where you left it. At one point, I'm pretty sure second was on the other side of third. There was never a minute where I was riding this bike where I felt like, I got this.
Well, that's the same with the Springer. It's got about a 4.5 inch throw to switch gears.
That's what this is.
I've been exercising so I can go. You got to high step the shaft.
Dude. The throw on this thing is obscene.
I've always been told the easiest way to get a Harley Davidson into neutral is to just turn it off.
That's what I do.
That's what
I shut it off and I use my hand and I go, and then it goes right in. But you can't do it with your foot.
Well, and if you pull up to a red light in this bike on one in first gear,
you're moving.
It's creeping.
Oh yeah, no, it'll keep going.
It's creeping. So I'm like, So then what do? Okay, well, my right foot is on the peg trying to find neutral.
Right.
So I can't pick up my left foot. It's holding the bike up at this moment. So I can't use my left foot to be the brake because the rear brake actually works quite well.
Yeah.
It should.
But you can't use that because you're
But the
holding
juice
foot up.
brake on the front is useless. So I'm And somebody fixed it already. It's got stainless steel hoses on it and the whole deal. Somebody has made that front disc brake better, but it's still not good. And so there's a number of little things I'm going to have to play with on this bike before I feel confident. But since we got it, I have had more comments of approval. Cool bike, great bike, that's awesome, kick-ass Sportster. If it's in front of the shop, remember, we are purveyors of the gayest scooter on the planet, right? If our scooters were Transformers, they'd turn into Elton John, right? These bikes are not Harley bikes. Leave this thing parked out in front of the shop for one day, and I mean out of the woodwork. Everybody, oh, that's a great bike.
Want to buy it?
Let me tell you something. This bike isn't even in the shadow of a great bike. If you think this bike is great, I invite you to ride it.
Yeah.
Because if you go out and ride it and be like, that's exactly the way they're supposed to be, I fondly remember that. No, no. This is when you say, God, the best car I ever owned. I really wish I had a car like my old 66 Beetle again. I really miss my 66 Beetle. I loved that car. I made out with a girl in that car. It was the greatest car in the world when I was 16 years old. Cool. Embrace that. Don't drive one.
No, but on top of that, don't get like 12 of them and make that your life for a bunch of years.
Right.
And then go experience a new modern thing and be like, holy fuck, what did I do with the last?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because riding this motorcycle is not a sensory rewarding, safe experience. It's really...
It's a 50-year-old bike, though, too.
It is.
I mean, it's like it's from a completely different time.
We had a question of what was the worst bike we'd ever ridden or been around, and
It still isn't there.
He came up with, this was pretty bad, and I said, well, probably the oil and frame Triumph of the later years, where the transmissions really sucked.
But you know what? To Pete's point, being a 50-year-old bike, it's pretty clean, man. Like, I mean, besides the rubber being worn out and whatever.
I might take a KZ900 over this.
Ooh.
What do you think?
I think that's a whole different level of old man.
Same year.
With. Yeah.
Right? The shifter's on the correct side. It's got the right number of gears. Just saying.
Yeah, but the price difference, I mean, sure, if you could get a straight trade, that's a good deal for you.
I might even take a 73 Honda CB350, a CB750F, right? A less desirable would be a better riding experience.
Talk to Ryan. Ryan Foltz has that bike. And this is Ryan all over the place.
Guess who came by the shop yesterday?
Yeah, because it's designed for him.
He said, I've been looking for an iron head. Like, this is what I want. And Ryan is the guy.
Yeah.
Like, Ryan has the haircut for this bike. He has the beard for this bike.
He's like a cool Rob Zombie.
He is a wizard, right?
Yeah.
And a wizard should have a 73 Harley.
Yeah.
With the big red, white, and blue number 1 on the side.
Because they are magical. I mean, you might not like the magic.
And he's the right guy to own it. And I've ridden some of the bikes that he's worked on and fixed and stuff. Some of the Harleys he's been with. And I can tell you, this is right up his alley.
Yeah.
So he came by the shop yesterday, and the only disconnect between Ryan and this machine was in the form of dollars. Had this bike been a Ryan deal, which means like 17th signature on the title and, in somebody's garage that was, abandoned for whatever.
Slightly not running.
His old lady had to sell it because he had to make bail money.
So the fact that even if I told Ryan, I was like, hey man, this is what I got in the bike. I'll sell it to you for the penny I got into it. And this is your bike now because you're the only person I think could have it. He was like, yeah, it's exactly what I want, but I want a shittier one. And I went, you want a shittier one?
He does.
He's like, I want a shitty one.
Let me push it over for you.
That's what I said. I said,
drag it behind the truck and it helps.
I think if you went out and
I won't charge you anything to make it shittier.
I think if you went out and got a coffin tank and a bigger sissy bar,
I have a coffin tank.
He might be in it.
We can make that deal happen.
And I have a fleet of sissy bars.
Dude, that might make him change his mind, man.
Oh my God. So we are hoping that we don't have to resort to putting this on Bring a Trailer.
What does it take to
what is
sweeten
the
this
price
deal?
tag of how many dollars for that?
This is $4,500 right now.
Okay.
I am extraordinarily negotiable.
Oh, you're going to get like 70 grand on Bring a Trailer.
Oh, yeah.
So I did go on Bring a Trailer and look at all of the other XL and XLHs of this this era. And the one that was still bolted to the factory Harley-Davidson wooden crate, no shit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Never been like the top part of the crate had been removed, but the motorcycle was
For 50 years, nobody wanted this thing.
Yeah, so that's also true.
That's gotta
That's
say.
also true. These were a hard sell. Remember, this might as well just say AMF on it, right?
It's all marketing. Just Ironhead Survivor.
Fuck, I got to rewrite my listing.
Old school.
So mine says 1973 Harley Davidson XLH 1000 Sportster, electric start, history you can ride, classic American Ironhead, brand new Motobat battery, $200, less than 1,000 miles on a full rebuild, clean Ohio title, starts easy, runs great, not for beginners, not a good first bike, right foot shift, no test rides without cash in hands, motorcycle trades considered, no cars, boats, or lawn equipment, 2A cool.
Lawny.
Man, I'd put this back seat seen more old ladies than your pops.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also true. I might force Merritt to take one ride on the back of this, just so she never complains about anything I do ever again.
There you go.
Well, that is the king and queen seat.
Yeah.
You do have the king and queen.
King and queen, and it's got very nice shocks on the back end.
Yeah.
And I think that if I forced Merritt to put on clothes and like put on some gear and get on the back of this
I
motorcycle.
mean, she wore a full face helmet driving in the van. I
She
think
did. Yeah, she knows the
She
deal.
knows.
But if I make her ride around on the back of this, just like 10 miles, she will know better than to ever complain about anything ever in her life. Because there are people that say like, oh, my boyfriend's got a Harley. It's an old Sportster. I just love jumping on the back and riding with him. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And people that are like, oh, it's a great old bike. Just jump on it and do anything. No,
Yeah,
not at all.
right.
Not even a little bit.
I like the forks. They're basically the width of a cigar tube.
They are.
they're what 27 Serianis?
When you hit the front brake, like what little there is,
Yeah.
the flex starts at the brake pad and goes all the way to the back of the motorcycle.
Yep.
I've never met a motorcycle that involves so much pig iron in my life that was as twisty as this thing is.
Yeah.
Like there's flexes everywhere. The reason you don't drive these fast is because the two ends don't point the same direction at any time. And I had a 72 that was the smaller version of this, which kickstart only. And what I remember about it was it was pretty fucking easy to kickstart. They fixed that with this high compression engine. I could ride it around pretty easily, and it didn't freak me out too bad. And I never tried to make it do anything it wasn't meant to do. It had normal human handlebars on it, where they were supposed to be, and they were rigidly mounted to the forks, which is fine. It was a very normal vintage motorcycle to ride. This is not. The failure point in this motorcycle is not.
It's the badge.
It's just that idea of saying this is what we wanted to have happen. And man, I've had a lot of Sportsters. I've had a lot of, I just forgot how bad this year was. How bad 72, 73, how just awful. And you know, it's bad when you're riding a motorcycle and you know it's got fresh oil, you know it's got fresh fluids, you know the clutch has been gone through, you know a guy just spent a lot of time and work on the thing. It starts pretty well, but when you're grabbing the fucking shifter with your hand and trying to find where neutral went.
I think the selling point of this with what you're trying to get at is that he spent a lot of time and a lot of money on a bike a lot of people always say they really, really, really fucking wanted and ended up going, fuck this shit, I want a Vespa.
He did. And you're exactly right.
He did.
And he came in with 4 Volkswagen tattoos. I mean, he had a Vanagon.
He knows what pain is. He knows pain. Right? He knows pain. Yeah. And he went, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, he did. You're exactly right. And that was his attitude too, was like, yeah, so you said you'll take anything in trade? No, he did. And I was like,
oh yeah, no, because when he told,
and I was feeling froggy because I was like,
he told me a dude's bringing in a Harley. I'm like, just ready on a Vespa. I'm like, well, you did get the new the new one, the new nice new 23 or 22. And that, you know, I get that guy's story.
We have proven
this is time and money.
Oh, this is awful. So anyway, that's the thing, and that happened. And if you want to know how far you can get away from a 2024 modern Vespa, this is how far you can go. This is when you're so far on the other side of the planet, you're starting to see where you left from.
And an airhead guy literally said, fuck this shit, I want a Vespa. A modern Vespa with ABS, traction
Well, and an
control.
airhead guy, too, that has been, building Volkswagens for... an air-cooled Volkswagen guy who's got 5 or 6 BMW motorcycles has 7 or 8 Volkswagen cars and vans and everything else. Got this. This was going to be his project bike. This was going to be the thing. He's got a /2. He's got a /5. He's got other BMW motorcycles. He decided he wanted to do this, and he went, nope, trade it for a Vespa. That's exactly it. I've met my match.
Yep.
So that's what it is. And the reason I'm saying this too is we just spent some time talking about Harley Davidsons and whatever. John's not here, so we can do this. People are going to say, you suck. This is the easiest motorcycle in the world to work on. You suck. This is one of the easiest motorcycles in the world to ride. You suck, Phil. This motorcycle is the bike my girlfriend learned how to ride on in 74, in 73, whatever. In today's standard, by today's money, this is an awful motorcycle. It's an awful motorcycle. And it does scream about how far Harley Davidson was different than its British, Italian, and Japanese competitors in this era. Because taking the Kickstarter away didn't make this motorcycle a lot better. It just took away one of your options for getting it started when the battery got low. And it's really, it's interesting. I don't even want to get into the electrical system on this. I've seen more complicated, more reliable electrical systems on cars from the 30s. The electrical system on this motorcycle is like cloth wiring. I mean, it's pretty rudimentary, pretty rude. Yeah, that's what it is though. So anytime anybody wants to live romantically in the past, come ride this thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You'll get over that shit real quick. You'll be like, CF Moto, tell me about the new CF Moto. I want to hear more about the new CF Moto because I rode this now and I think the new CF Moto might be a good idea. Lay some technology on me. Yeah.
How much that G400C cost?
Yeah, right.
Well, you do
500 less than this. That's exactly
you
right.
do technically have the new Harley CF Moto in shop. Well,
I just sold that.
CF Moto. You did.
I sold the SRV 300.
Oh, you sold the SRV
to the
That
perfect
was a
customer.
great bike, dude. I love
Perfect
that
customer
little bike.
bought it. Absolutely the right customer. It was really a good experience. The guy came in. He was looking for a first motorcycle. Loved the look of it. I showed him 7 or 8 different bikes. He loved the look of that bike. He sat on it. He thought it was cool. And I said, so just so you are aware, this is a 300cc motorcycle. Top speed's going to be about 100 if you're lucky. And he just said, this is my first motorcycle. I love the look of it. But more importantly, I love the fact I can press the button and I know it's always going to start. Yeah. And I went, that's very cool. And he goes,
it rode so nice.
It does. Everything about it was pretty cool. I was pretty happy with it.
So it's the exact opposite of this, and it's going to have a Harley badge on it.
Well, yeah.
Eventually.
And right. And that, I think that as we all move forward, the CF Moto Ibex 800s that were teased at EICMA now have been teased again. There's been a photo leaked of a whole bunch of them standing in a row at a factory. They're all blue. Strangely enough, the sneaky photo. And so I think that a lot of our friends that are like, ooh, I'm waiting for that, CF Moto 800 to come out. I think we're getting closer.
Well, don't they have the Ibex, like the ADV version, then they have a naked sport bike version, and then they have something
They're doing
else?
4 different versions of the bike.
Yeah.
So they're going to do everything from a 21-inch front wheel to a 17 street tire, and they're going to come with everything from virtually naked to a whole bunch of aluminum boxes kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's the plan. Again, we'll see what happens when they show up, because right now everything they're hitting on is like, hey, I'm definitely in the camp where 800 to 900 cc's is probably my sweet spot. I'm probably not too excited about a 1200. I've had my fun with the Steve McQueen 1200, and I think that I could do everything I do with that bike on 800 or 900 cc's, on a much lighter platform, So I'm not saying I'm going to run right out and buy a CF Moto, but I am saying I'm curious to see what they got going on.
I have to say, I'm liking 1100 cc's quite a bit, man.
But that is a sport bike.
That
is a sport bike. That is the hand of God.
Dude, we went out Sunday and did the twisties me and Mark went down the Southern Ohio. We ended up doing about 390 miles. Bike is comfortable as any bike I've ever owned. I've never had a bike that fast that's comfortable now. I did 1-inch lowering pegs and I had 2-inch bar risers, and it's pretty good. But so the first half of the day, I was just kind of feeling the bike out. And I was riding like crap, but like the bike was great. But toward the second half of the day when I got comfortable with it, that thing is sick. Like you crest off the hill, There was one hill down there, and it was so hard for me because it was so beautiful. At the same time, I was scared shitless. I came across this hill, and it just wheelies off the crest of hills. There's so much power. Yeah. You just come off of it, like you're on a turn, and you hit a crest of a hill, and you give it gas, and it just goes whoa, like that down the hill. It was like, holy shit.
That front wheel doesn't want to be on the ground.
Well, no, but it has wheelie control. So it only lets it go
a little bit.
Like 4 or 5 inches. But then when the thing drops off, like
that's
you're
the bonus
falling
wheelie.
down.
Yeah, you're falling into it.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Yeah, my multistrada is the same way. When you set it in sport mode, you're like, okay, 4 inches of wheelie is exactly what you're going to get. Yeah. You're going to get a predictable, perpetual 4-inch wheelie.
And you don't have to worry about it. You know you're not going over backwards. So it's like fine. But man, so like compared to the BMW, anything else I've ridden in twisties like that.
Yeah.
Like the first half of the day, there were a couple of times where I'm like, oh, I could see how this could get you in really quick trouble. Like as you're over and stuff like that, like you're trying to work it. And if you get up a little over like the 7 or 8 grand thing, instead of accelerating out, it'll spin the back tire on the back side of a fucking turn. And it's like you're smoking the tire. Well, I didn't really smoke it, but like you can feel it like squiggling out from under you and man,
losing a wee bit of grip.
Yeah, so
that's good.
I'm going to learn a lot from this bike or die. One of the two things, but it's awesome.
So a little bit about how the other markets, the Asian markets, how they hit a little different than we do.
Oh, wow. That's a windscreen.
That's a windscreen, isn't it?
Was that what Renee had when she had her accident?
I have one of these in the warehouse for Piaggio MP3.
Oh, wow.
And it goes all the way over your head. But yeah, this is we're talking about like
what is supporting that? Is there anything in the back?
The will of God.
Because if the wind hits that, what the fuck? Like, is it going to break?
The one I have looks like a plexiglass surfboard, and it goes all the way from where the windshield's supposed to mount up, all the way over your head.
Yeah, but this one doesn't.
Oh, I'm going to make you even hate this one more.
Wait, is that really a windshield?
It is.
I thought it was like a play on the Ibex.
I get it.
Ibex horns.
Well, I think it's going to be even better because I pray to God this is just a marketing exercise and not a real thing because you nailed it with the Ibex deal. But yeah.
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 Right. Okay. They're fucking around.
What, with the top box you mean in the back?
Yeah, they can't be for real. Come on.
They're fucking around. I just thought I wanted to throw it up and see if anybody got it.
Yeah, well, I got it.
I know you got it. I tried. Yeah, you can't get one past Pete. That's
it's pretty clever though. I'll give him that.
It's good marketing. It's good marketing.
It reminded me like the BMW scooter that had the roof on it and everything.
The C1.
Yeah, exactly.
The C1. Yeah, I've ridden a couple of them, and every time I rode one, I was fucking terrified. Yeah.
Oh,
I'd like to bail out of this thing if it falls over.
Oh, the
the
Diamo.
Well, the Diamo Velux was a much lighter version because nothing in the Diamo Velux outside of the windshield bracket was even load bearing. It was all just plastic going in weird places. The Diamo Velux, but the BMW C1 was designed so that you didn't have to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
So it has shoulder bolsters. It has a lap bar. It has
a full seatbelt on it.
A full seatbelt and a roof, a load-bearing roof. So if you have a passenger, they ride on the back outside. So that BMW C1, I was lucky enough or unfortunate enough to ride a couple, and that is one of those machines where you just go, come on, man. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Very, very to get the right. I guess to get the right image.
Oh shit! Look at that. The passengers on the back outside. They're like, "Fuck you, passenger."
Right. Yeah. The passengers on the back,
in the back,
outside of the vehicle.
What a great view for the passenger, just a rear window.
Well, and what a great situation for the passenger to be like, "You are cargo." Right?
Yeah. Right.
Right. You are this not important to me.
But I mean, I guess for dudes that are worried about it, there is no nuts to bust.
That is true. There is no homo.
You have a barrier.
Right. You have absolutely no homo in this thing.
Is there a headrest in that thing?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, it's basically a two-wheeled car.
Right. Yeah.
And it probably is more structurally sound than half the BMWs that era.
I would tell you that having ridden it, what you have here is you've got this really weird, super high center of gravity. The center of gravity on this thing is about where your shoulders are. And so when I took this for a test ride in Europe, when they did the launch, what I found was turning into a roundabout. So getting into a roundabout with this thing, The second you get to that tip over point where you're like, yeah, I'm making a turn here, there's so much weight up high that the bike just wants to dive in on you. And it still has little 12-inch tires, right? It still has a 150cc motor, 4-stroke motor under your butt. When you look at the expression on the guy in the back seat of this fucking thing, this particular one that they're showing is a bike that's been to Barber, is a bike that's been to Mid-Ohio. This particular bike that we have a picture of for our viewers at home. There we go. I want you to get a good long look at the guy in the back seat if you can. He's got his summer teeth in, some are here, some are there, right? This couple of dudes right now is living their best life with a 12-pack of Coca-Cola. He's got the seatbelts disconnected. The seatbelts are connected behind his back. And if you look up in front of his right knee, there's a lever. And when the lever is in place, the parking lock lever, when it's in place, you can't drive the bike. It won't let the center stand go up. Because the safety of this thing, the safety factor is like you have to be strapped in. That parking brake lever has to be moved forward. The bail has to be moved forward. So the idea is you could take a tumble on this thing and never crack your skull. So this makes helmets voluntary. Problem is, didn't work out that way, and many European countries went, fuck it, it's still a motorcycle. You got to wear a helmet. So after all that trying to create a thing to replace a 12-ounce helmet, they ended up still having to wear helmets. And you look at these two guys right now, you see they're both wearing helmets. And that's in the USA. So
At least they had a windshield wiper.
yeah, and that's another one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the whole concept of windshield wipers and plastic windows. If you're not familiar with the whole airplane thing, like windshield wipers and plastic windows, it's a bad idea because it shortens the lifespan of your plastic windows dramatically because everything that's on the windshield isn't abrasive. So you end up getting about 20 swats before you start realizing that your windshield's destroyed forever.
And this, kids, is why you're going to see far more Honda gyro canopies than you ever will BMW C1s.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And those Diamos, they had a folding roof that the roof folded into the trunk. So you could run it convertible or top up. And we took one to a scooter rally and got a whole lot of hate. Like world-class amount of hate by taking it to a vintage scooter rally.
I've worked on a couple of them, and I've got a whole lot of hate for
they're
that bike.
terrible. Terrible bikes. Yeah, the Chinese version is just unforgivably bad. It's fucking terrible. Yeah, no, there's no getting away from that. Anybody got anything coming up?
Skid Mark 300s next weekend.
Whoa! That's right.
Yep.
Holy smokes. That crept up on me fast.
Yeah, there's 30 of us going down. Same place as last year. I haven't seen the routes yet, but brother Tim's going. I'm going. Nolan.
Yes.
I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
So I'll be absent next week. But
you're going to be doing something cool.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
And what are you going to be riding?
I think I'm going to take the F800 this year. I took the Monkey last year, but Tim wants to ride the Transalp, so
that's what I was going to say.
He's going big bike, so I'm going to go big bike.
You're going to go big bike to match him.
Yep.
Okay. So tell folks a little bit about the Skid Mark 300, because this is a cool event.
So Brian Shaffrin runs the Skid Mark Garage, community-based garage. He's been on the podcast before. I'm sure people are probably familiar with his story. So, but he rents out an entire hotel from Thursday through Sunday, and it's a mom and pop motel. And you go down Thursday night, have a riders meeting. There's a route laid out on Friday that's roughly 150 miles long. You go out in like groups of 6, I think. We went 6 last year, maybe 8. So you ride with guys, and he puts the groups together. Like, I didn't know the guys that were in my group, but he tries to put a guy with a strong mechanic, with a strong navigator, with maybe a person with not a lot of experience. And then you ride with your group, you come back to the hotel, there's a meal waiting for you, and then you just hang out in the parking lot at the motel, and you do it again on Saturday, come back, have another community meal, and then Sunday morning you get up, have breakfast, and go home. Yeah. So it's 300 miles of riding, mostly gravel road, a lot of vintage bikes.
Yeah, didn't Brian use his Super Hawk at 305?
I thought he took a 360.
Oh, he might have.
CB
yeah.
360 or something.
I know that there was. I know in the pictures from the ride that the Super Hawk The Superhawk was there.
No, that was Brian's Superhawk, and then Steve Noble had the CL350
That was okay. That was it. Yeah, something like that.
That's cool.
with the throttle cable up and over the gas tank coming down. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he's got some good shit going on.
Yeah, Steve was in my group actually. He was He was the strong mechanic in my group, and I was the strong navigator. And then we had a couple other guys that kind of just followed along.
Sure.
Too, but it's a nice event, and I think it's kind of a fundraiser for Skidmark.
I think it is. Yeah.
And everyone has a good time, and you meet some people that like I rode with people that I otherwise probably wouldn't have ridden with, because I think I said this last year after the event. I would have went down there, rode with my brother, rode with Nolan, guys I ride with all the time. But because he assigns you in these groups,
right,
you meet some new people.
And then he's playing a little bit of the personality game too. So that's pretty cool. He knows everybody.
Yep.
So he can be like, oh, this would be a good opportunity for you to hang out with this guy.
Yep.
That's cool. We always love everything that Skidmark does. This is another great example of, putting together a badass event. Something super cool. I just can't possibly say enough good things about it. If you have stuff like that in your neighborhood, do it. Do it a lot.
And I also heard today that Brian's bike isn't even put together yet.
I've heard that rumor too. Yeah. It's going to be an 11th hour adventure.
Yeah, he's got a big week ahead of him.
Yep. Yeah. I definitely
I
love the idea.
That's a lot of hoping and wishing and praying on the PB Blaster.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what it's there for, right? Yeah, the PB Blasters, it's got its place in the universe. That's about it. The other thing that I wanted to give a huge shout out to, Sleepy, you've been making more and more and more noises about actual track days.
Yeah, 100%.
And you posted a link up for fast tracks. And that's something that I want to remind people that you don't have to have an Aprilia 1000cc motorcycle.
Oh, I'm probably not going to take that, actually.
There we go. Okay. Now tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there's no, for the street, it's fun, whatever. But on the track, a 600cc sport bike could be more than you need for anything. If anything, I might take the BMW just for the initial couple of times, just because you tape stuff up and they teach you, do whatever.
Right.
But no, they tell you, man, like when you go out, you're not going to be going super fast on your first couple of times. You're going to be learning how to actually ride a track and things like that. So that's what I was looking for too, is like when you sign up for a novice thing, it's not even I think it's beginner and then novice. But if you sign up as a beginner saying that you have no track experience, then you get like full on like a school, like you go and they teach you about stuff in a classroom a few times. And then you get like an instructor that'll lead 2 or 3 guys out and he watches you and you're supposed to follow him and he takes you through the lines. And I don't know, it's supposed to be pretty cool. And then at the end of it, if you start doing track days and stuff, build yourself up, then you can request to go up through the ranks and get, the different levels and things. But they say that, at the end of the day, track's great and it's a lot of fun, but it's going to make you a safer street rider as well.
Yeah, and that's past couple of years, shop's been busier. We've been shorthanded, so I haven't been able to go out and do these. I used to just make it my business to always do at least one a year. And it's so friendly. It's so easy. When you look at Nelson Sledges in particular, the track's very accessible. It's an easy thing to do. The track is now in good shape. And I think that for the kind of money you're talking about, $285.
Well, it's $210 for beginner.
It's if you're going out beginner time, if you're doing the race school, that's $285.
Oh.
So if you're going to do the training, you're going to pay a little bit more money.
Yeah.
If you're doing just the track day, it's $210.
Yeah.
And that is affordable by any standard. When you think about being able to go out on a motorcycle and ride around a racetrack and really be able to legally push your limits and learn more about the bike and the way it can perform.
And that's the thing. Like when we're down in Southern Ohio, like I don't have the pretension to want to not come back.
Right.
So we're riding fast, but at the same time, like we're not trying to kill ourselves. Like I'm not trying to push anything to the max of anything. I'm just trying to enjoy the road a little bit, have a little fun, whatever. But I could see on like a racetrack where you have runoff and you have areas to not, wrap yourself around a pole where you might actually push quite a bit harder.
People don't realize $210, you're doing 3 hours in the morning and you're doing 4 hours in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That is more laps than you're ready for.
Yeah, because I think
your body is going to be burned out.
Yeah, 20-minute sessions. So they run it in 20-minute sessions. So like I think beginner goes out and then it's like thing and then you're back. You can just keep that rotation.
Yep.
So it sounds like, that's not a lot of track time.
It's a ton.
Everybody says for your first time, when the second session comes up, you're like, already? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not ready yet. Like, no,
when I
haven't stopped shaking.
When I took the Gucci out and we went out for after lunch, I took my lunchtime to adjust the suspension and make the bike a little more predictable and a little more rideable. And what I learned was I should have done all that in the morning because by the afternoon I was shot. So by the afternoon, my body was just beat up because I haven't done it enough. And I hadn't done enough, so I was worn out. Yeah. So by the time I went out there, I was beat up.
Right.
And you'll have an opportunity to set your motorcycle up. You'll have an opportunity to learn the way your bike works.
Right.
It's really cool. It's fantastic. And for $210, I can lay that kind of down. I can lay that damage down at a bar.
Right. And the thing is you're learning a lot. You're learning useful skills. It's not just like you're going and you're wasting your time running on tracks and you're not going to race. So why are you doing it? It's like you're learning how much braking your bike can take before you're not going to fall, and things like that. So.
And if you want to do this next year, the way Fast Tracks has it set up is if you purchase 5 events in advance, they give you a coupon for a 6th event.
Yeah, that's
what. You buy 5, get 1 free.
That's what I was thinking I was going to do.
Like you're committing.
We're trying to put this together and stuff, and because I'm an idiot and I can't do anything right, I keep buying the wrong shit. And I swear I got a sick deal on these track boots that I wanted really bad. But I fat fingered it and I got one size too small, but I can't ship them back to fucking Holland. So now I have a brand new set of boots that, so I'm probably going to make next year. I'll see if I can make October, but if not, I'm just going to do it next year.
Yeah. And that's absolutely fine.
So what you were playing on the TV while we were just talking about that, it was I think it's the route from last year.
It's the route from last year.
That was me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that bridge, was I with you and Dave when we bumped into Danimal?
Yeah, that's Hunter Road Bridge.
Yeah. So we were the weirdest thing. So there's this dude Danimal from Adventure Rider.
Yep.
He was a local dude. He left 4 years ago on a world tour. He just left, quit his job, did the whole thing. I bought boots off of him before he left when he was selling all his shit.
Oh.
Because he lived in Cuyahoga Falls. So I bought my adventure boots off him. He had $500 adventure boots for $150 because he wanted to make money for his trip. So he goes on this trip and he does it, man. He goes all the way down to Urshiwawa, wherever it is however you say it, down there on the bottom. He goes over, he does all this stuff, South American stuff. Then he gets in an accident, gets in thing. He has to go to the hospital, does all this, comes back, all this. And I'm following this on Adventure Rider because he reports his little trip,
Okay.
So I'm following this for like 2 or 3 years. We're on an adventure ride in the middle of wherever the hell this is. And we just come and he's like, we're both looking at this bridge, and I don't think it had those planks on it when we were there. Cause remember there was the big gaps where I don't know if I want to go over this or not, but we're in this middle of this woods in the bridge. We go over there and there's Danimal and some other dude. I was like, holy shit. You're just here in the middle of Ohio. You're back. It was kind of cool. Just weird, right? And the whole world.
It is very
bump into the guy.
It's always weird when you run into somebody and you're like, oh, you're that guy.
Yeah.
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 You're that guy. And when you see somebody that's never been in the concrete guy, the guy who poured my concrete was a Star Boy.
Huh.
And he has, I figured as much because he has, some people have 1 Superman tattoo because they like Superman. He has 6. Why do you have 6 different Superman tattoos all over your body? But his name is Jeff, and they call him Big Jeff. And it's not because he's tall. He's muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles. Concrete is the right job for this guy because he could move a lot of it, I'm sure. But when he showed up and he's like, oh, I ride Harleys and everything else, but I used to ride with the Star Boys and this other stuff. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah, Big Jeff.
Yeah, Big Jeff, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, all right. But then it turns out, he gave me the whole resume. I was like, yeah, there you go. That was your moment.
Well, there was definitely a certain element of juice heads on the backside. It was like the military defense for the Star Wars Corporation. Like when Scott and Kevin would get too stupid, those dudes would come out of the back like, hey, what are you doing?
Well, there was a lot of that.
They always wore the gold gym the tank tops that were like, they were like spaghetti strap.
No, there was nothing left of them. Right. They were strategically taken apart.
Yeah.
Nice. It wouldn't be classified as bikini on any beach anywhere in Brazil.
Every single one of them had the big stars on their elbows. Yeah. That was the Star Wars tattoo.
Yeah. The T-shirt, they cut off all the material except for the Gold's Gym logo.
The Gold's Gym logo.
It was like all the way down.
So it's like a necklace.
It was a ring on the bottom with some like pamphlet that came up.
And
on
that's
the front.
all
that
it was.
Yeah.
That's it. So you ran into Danimal. That's pretty cool.
That was neat.
That's pretty rad.
Middle of nowhere.
And then
Here's a Danimal story for you, though. He started off, and I think his South America trip, riding a CSC at 250cc adventure bike. Just like,
Did he really?
Just like Brother Tim's.
He put 46,000 miles on it. Like, he was like the initial dude who, like, that's the first time I met him was at the Valley View Quaker Stake bike night.
Okay.
And I was all excited because I had my NC and I was back on it like a bike. Yeah. And I was like, hey, an adventure bike. And I was like, what kind is that? And he was like, oh, it's a CSC 250. And
he was like the poster boy for adventuring on those things.
He definitely was. Yeah. But then, he was the guy that when everybody was like, I don't know, it's Chinese, it's probably going to break. They're like, well, that guy's got 23,000 miles on it already. Yeah. Well, he's had it for 3 weeks. How the fuck could he have 23,000 miles? Oh, he started in South America.
Yeah.
And then that picture of him right there, that's a DR650 that's thoroughly kitted out. I mean, it's really well done.
Yeah.
It's got woody wheels. That's got that whole tower, the whole front tower thing, and GPS. And the interesting is those panniers. They look like they're hard panniers,
right?
But they're not. They're basically like two trash bins. They're made by a company, but they're like trash bin material that you can't break.
They're flexible.
And they basically that top slides down over the other part, so it's basically waterproof and everything. But you can't kill them. Like you can.
There's nothing you could do to destroy them.
Yeah.
That's always one of my things with hard boxes is I don't ever want to be between the hard box and a tree.
Hard boxes are cool for highway touring.
Yeah.
And even then, if your bike on a hill rolls forward or backwards on your leg, it can hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of just duffel bag type stuff. Anything that's, roll bags and shit like that you can overstuff and then just tie the bungees tighter, tie the tie-down straps tighter.
There was a video once of a guy when the new GS 1200 came out. It was right after, like the new body style or whatever. And they show a dude in the mud and he's got the hard bags on and it goes into the rut and his feet don't. And the bike just goes, and you just see both of his ankles go, oh, so terrible.
I've also been behind a guy that had big metal boxes on the back of a KLR. And I was like, oh man, that's cool. He can carry a ton of shit. And then when we get to where we're going, he can put them on the ground and sit on them.
Yeah.
And sit around the campfire and play music.
I've carried several $100s worth of groceries home from Costco in those
Bingo.
boxes.
And then I was following him and we went into a very, very narrow rut and literally the boxes hit the earth and the back tire was just spinning. So he'd high centered on his boxes. And I was like, that's fucking weird, man. I don't think I don't ever want to do that. And so I have on the back of my KLR, I've got 20 millimeter cases. So plastic, Army, and they're not real thick. They're not real thick, but they're extraordinarily durable and they will keep ice for like 4 days, 5 days. So that's a major plus.
Which is the most important thing we tell everybody.
Super bonus.
Bring ice.
And bring ice and firewood. And
what's the name of that company that makes like the $50 cups?
Yetis.
Yetis? I'm surprised they haven't made Yeti panniers. Holy shit.
Every time Tom goes to an event, the people at International Harvester, Travel Appendix, whatever, send him back with fucking Yetis. He comes back with Yeti sippy cups. And I'm like, that's a weapons grade sippy cup.
Yeah.
You can knock it over and the little sippy cup part doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
They're extraordinarily overbuilt.
That's what I'm saying though, but like they do such a good job. You can have your panniers, take your food for a week.
$500.
Yes, right. Yes, and that's true too because when somebody shows up and they're like, oh, and they put that Yeti down, and you're like, oh, you must have 100 beers in there. No, it's empty.
No.
Are you fucking kidding me? That was empty? Yeah, that's empty. It gets heavier when you put ice and beer in it.
Exactly.
It's impossible that could get heavier.
Having carried those around is why I was looking at sleeves because Summit sells an off-brand like polar bear or something like that. But it's got it's
Sasquatch.
It's got
Yeti.
It's got
it's a not Yeti.
It's got the fucking wheels.
Yeah.
The best part about the damn thing is it's got the fucking wheels.
I would have to have wheels.
What was the guy in Rudolph's thing? What do they call him? The big white snow wizard or
the Bumble.
Mr. Bumble.
Yeah. Mr. Bumble.
Yeah.
Bumble brand coolers.
The not Yeti's the best though, because that is a middle finger to the copyright enforcement department.
Oh yeah.
You're like, dude, it's called a not Yeti.
The lore is that Arctic was created because somebody got a divorce and they lost half the company.
What?
You don't know about that arc?
No.
Apparently the wife of the creator, and I'm going to get this wrong.
Okay.
But it happened.
Yes.
And then there was a divorce.
Okay.
And then they had like a 6-month head start before Arctic got started because that was the other half of the divorce.
That was the other half of the divorce. Oh, that's hilarious. God damn it. You know what? We are the only country in the world privileged enough to have luxury, opulent conspicuous display of wealth coolers.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the green egg grills that people have in the backyard.
yeah.
I got a green egg for free. Neighbor was moving out. Neighbor was like, if you want that, you can have that. And I went, that looks expensive. And he goes, it was. It was expensive. And I'm like, but I don't really recall you ever using it. He goes, yeah, let me show you how my other grill works. I turn the valve on, I press the button, and then 5 minutes later, I have hamburgers.
Yep.
And I went, propane and propane accessories.
Yep.
And he goes, yeah, this thing, on the other hand, there's a system.
Yep.
And I went, oh, okay, I'm willing to learn this system. It looks like a very expensive device. No, it took 40 minutes and it wasn't the correct temperature yet, apparently. Like, there's rules. And I went, it's just a big green dumb.
Run on charcoal?
Yeah. Yeah. Runs on charcoal. I
watched-
get it, but I'm not willing to spend that much time to incorrectly cook a steak anyway.
I watched somebody ruin a pig one time because he used a Cajun microwave, big box, filled full of coals and bullshit and everything else. It takes like 48 hours, and at the end of the process, you get a pig that has been roasted. And I'm like, I've seen this done in 30 minutes by people in other countries.
I have a cast iron Dutch oven.
Right.
It is what I use. It's what cooks my steaks, and it cooks them correctly, very quickly, remarkably quickly.
I got one word for you. Napoleon.
Napoleon.
I have a Napoleon grill.
Is that the deal?
It's like the Cadillac of grills.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's the tits.
And is that powered on wood or?
No. It's propane.
Oh, it's
Push the
propane
button.
and propane
I'm not
accessories.
fucking around with lighting charcoal and waiting.
I like how Pete's like, I won't spend over $3 for anything.
He
except
wouldn't
for
pay
this fucking
$5 to
grill.
park.
Right.
But I'm guessing a Napoleon's more than $5.
We've talked about
It's north of $1,000.
this is what he spends his money
That's
on.
why he can't afford to park. He has to pay off that grill payment.
I will fight a raccoon for a bagel, but I have to have my cooked steak on $1,000 grill.
I have no money spending. I have no problem spending money if I'm getting something of quality.
Fantastic.
It's like cheap tools. Like I'm not going to buy cheap tools.
Right.
I buy good tools. Well, I bought a good grill. God damn it. And
That's
I love it.
fantastic.
Every time I use it, I'm like, I'm glad I spent.
I'm glad I spent the money.
This was a good purchase.
That's you got. If you got to spend it on something you want.
Yeah.
Do you keep this in the backyard?
I do.
You do? In Lakewood?
Nope.
You got a gate?
What's the code?
We garbage picked one of those big stainless steel bastards one year where it was like, there's no way that thing's actually at the curb, because if you leave those outside, the regulators don't like the wintertime. And so you just got to put in new regulators in it. But to wealthy people, they don't know that. They just think it's broken. And so I had to I was like, I had to go get a different truck. This thing was so big. And then I had to get my wife. So I had to tag team it. We went out, picked this big monster up, and it's like a Gen Air thing, right? It's extremely heavy duty. Brought it into the shop, and I was like, we have the ultimate cook surface now at the shop because we used to grill stuff out. And yeah, this is great. This is going to be cool. Put 3 regulators in it. Everything lit up, and it was great. I was like, oh, this is magnificent. I love it. And it wasn't out there for 2 days before somebody tried to steal it. And we chained it to our gas lines and stuff at the shop. And we were like, there it is. And we told the neighbors, hey, if you want to use it, there it is. Fire it up, cook on it. Just, keep an eye on it because it's fancy and we like having grill. And the neighbors were like, yes, we do. We'll keep an eye on that. One of my neighbors came in. Hey, there's 3 guys out there trying to steal that grill. And my neighbors are senior citizens living center. They're not going to put up a fight. But I was. And when I went out and I realized, I was like, somebody's going to get shot over a garbage picked stainless steel grill. So I told Sparky, I was like, if you want that, take it home. And he did. And he took it home, and it's graced his backyard ever since. But I just realized having a stainless steel grill like that, which is a flex, outside of my shop where people drive by all the time and look at that and go, that'll scrap out for a pretty penny. Yeah.
But like if you have a rich section near you, so when I lived in Cleveland Heights, we had University Heights and then Shaker Heights. Yeah. And there's certain areas there where there's Millionaires Row. And
you garbage pick on Fairmount.
Oh yeah, 100%. And also
I garbage pick on Lake Road.
Yeah, so Fairmount and the side roads. So I got a brand new like $1,200 Troy-built snowblower with the tags hanging off of it. It was me and B were riding my buddy's scooter. I was taking B on a scooter ride. And we were just cruising around because she used to like the pretty houses and stuff. Yeah. And so I'm like, there's no way that snowblower is being thrown out. So I did the respectable thing and I went and knocked on the door. Sure. And I said, hey, man, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but are you getting rid of that? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, fucking thing's a piece of shit. I bought it 2 years ago. Didn't use it because it didn't snow. Went to start it. Thing won't start. You can have it.
Thank you.
I said, can I push it on the side? I'm going to get my truck. He's like, yeah. When I come back, he piles on a Ryobi leaf blower with the tags hanging off of it, and a fucking pressure washer. He's like, all this shit. He goes, I don't get it. It doesn't run. I'm like, this shit these days is terrible.
It's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna pay for it, but I'll take it home and work on it.
I'll take a chance.
So I pull them all in. I put them in the garage. I didn't even take the carb off. I went to the float bowl, took it out, sprayed carb cleaner into the float bowl, refilled it. It was like all of it, everything, all started. So yeah, always
I haven't
go
paid
to the rich
for a
people
piece
area.
of yard furniture in 30 years.
Yeah.
God bless the people on Lake Road.
Yeah.
Man, if their shit gets faded a little bit, they got to buy all new stuff.
Or it's last season. You can't have last season's thatch couch or
My
whatever.
God, man.
wicker, not thatch.
I now know that I can't ride my scooter to work or a motorcycle to work on Tuesday because that's trash day.
Yeah.
I got to bring a truck because every time I don't bring a truck, people are throwing away a whole roll of carpet, brand new, because it was the wrong color.
Dude, I got a $2,000 armoire one time because I had a scratch.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like a 2-inch scratch on the front of it. I went to the dollar store and bought one of those markers, those furniture markers. I was like,
white people be crazy on my street. Yeah, it's just the craziest damn thing. Merritt goes, I was driving home. There's a roll of carpet. And I went, carpet, that's good because we use carpet in my garage when we do fluid film so we don't slip and slide like an ice skating rink and break our necks. But the carpet I have in there is like mismatched different sizes that I've garbage picked over the years. And it's become quite slippery now too.
Sure.
So now you're slipping and sliding on the carpet. You're going to get a broken neck. And when I pull the motorcycles in, it's fucking dangerous.
You could probably use that for roof material. It's so waterproof.
Now I could. It's super waterproof. But she wasn't lying. I went down the street and I took the big truck and there's a 12 goddamn foot long roll of carpet, 12 feet long and, 24, 30 feet. And I did the same thing you did. Clearly somebody's on their way to install this brand new roll of carpet that still all has the plastic on it.
Right.
And I knock, hey, are you throwing us away? Yeah, it's the wrong fucking color. It's taupe. Taupe. It's one color. It's the color of all industrial carpet.
Yeah.
I'm sure this was for their basement or their garage or whatever rich people do. Who cares what the fucking color is?
Right.
Nobody's going to care. Oh, it's the wrong color.
Honey does.
I guess she did.
Dude,
so it's in my garage now. I don't care.
Those people over by you and even further down, there was, when I had my own company and I was doing like a lot of like work with the high-end real estate guys where they'd want like a ridiculous like walkthrough gimbaled video and all this stuff and everything. We walk into this one place and it was really gaudy. It was right on the waterfront. It was going for $6.2 million.
Yeah.
And the people that had done it had remodeled the whole thing. He told me it took them a year just to get the materials from Italy. Like they had all this marble flown in and all this shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked exactly like what John Gotti probably would have liked in his house. And I'm like, wow. And he's like, well, that's the thing. He goes, so we know that whoever's going to buy this house isn't going to like it, like the interior. So we've already priced it accordingly. So these people came in and so I was following it because at this point I had a bit of an interest and I had done the video for it.
They literally altered the price for the removal of the extremely expensive wall coverings. Yeah.
And so he ended up selling it, but they sold it for like $5-something million. But the contingency is that before they even were moving in or doing anything, they wanted a company hired to remove all leave it studded out, but they wanted all the shit removed.
You had to remove all of the terrazzo.
So like all these people paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars to have this stuff imported. They lived there for 3 years. Look, so all this, it took a year to build it. They lived there for 2 years in this gaudy ass thing.
Some construction dude now has an entirely terrazzo marble bathroom.
Yeah, right.
100%.
I just want to live in a little modest, tiny house with a very large garage on Lake Erie so I can see and hear the lake at night and just get the benefit of like, hey, look, I live on the lake. And for that, I need a 700 square foot house and a 7 or 8 car garage. And a nice place to put a picnic bench.
He wants you know what's crazy? A nice garage with an apartment over it, he'd be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and the crazy part, so these people that house had, I want to say 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, 5-car garage, all this. There was him, his wife, and a kid.
Yeah, it's like beyond me.
Yeah, it's really
way beyond me.
It's, every time I walk into this place.
I don't want to live anywhere I can't clean.
Every time I walk into this and it's 1 bedroom with kind of with the cat room and then the little bit of stuff upstairs that you said you grew up in as a kid. You know, I look around, I'm like, yeah, this is about the right size house. And Becky walks into it. Well, I'd like to have, you know, she wants a dining room and a butler's pantry. Like she's got Medina. And then she goes home to Medina and she's like, I hate my fucking house. It's too goddamn big. I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. Right here.
You raised 3 boys?
Yes, sir.
And your house that you're living in right now?
Correct.
Perfect. It's not too big, not too small. It's exactly the right size. Do you know why I know that? Because your sons are all gentlemen and they're well adjusted and they seem to apparently know how to take care of themselves, right? And that's the evidence that they didn't have too much and they didn't have too little. You get them too little, they'll start stealing out of the trash and stuff. You don't want to have that. But like that house is like the kind of house that can raise 5 people can live there normally.
Worked for us.
I know, and it's cool and it's great, but you don't need 8 bedrooms. I can't.
Nor can I afford 8 bedrooms.
Right. My brother's place is the same kind of thing. He's like, he's got 4 kids. And at first when he bought the house and built the house, I was like, you've made mistakes, Jeff. You have many square footage. I didn't know how many children he was going to produce. I didn't see in the future. Apparently he did. He was like, no, I'm going to make some babies. And so that's right for a family of 6. That works. My house, no. My house is literally me, her, and a cat. It's perfectly fine. I'm great with that. Just with like a little more garage.
It's just, you know, what's funny is when you as you get older, a little older, I mean, this is just at least my
You're
experience.
old.
What's that?
You're old.
I'm getting old.
Okay.
But I'm like, you start to realize what you actually need and like how sometimes what you want actually is like a prison sentence.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the more shit and the bigger stuff you get, you're like, oh my God, I got
Slave to my shit.
Yeah.
The New Orleans house was like 5,000 square foot total. Like the whole thing was upstairs, downstairs, all 9 yards. We used 2 rooms. Right. 2 rooms and a bathroom. That was it. And the rest of the house, I would go back there and I'm like, holy fuck, there's more house back here. I mean, it never got finished, but
That's the goal. Sell a whole bunch of shit.
Yep.
You know, make holes in my life. John's Meckelfresh has done very well.
Oh,
with
yeah.
that.
No, he is in.
He started to make some very nice holes in his life. Starting to get things that were the shape of snowmobiles aren't there anymore. You know, things that were the shape of lawnmowers and garden tractors and everything else, those aren't there anymore. And I don't care if you're like, I could have got $200 for that. No, who cares? Fucking gone. And
Dude,
just it not being there is worth $200.
I had that the last bike that I had that I really wanted to get rid of at Mid Ohio.
Yeah.
I ended up selling it for a few hundred less than I really wanted to, and I said I was not going to sell it to that.
Right.
But exactly what you're saying, I'm standing there and I'm like, this guy's willing to take my headache for money.
Yep.
And I'm debating in my head whether or not that headache is worth an extra $200. Where 5 days ago I was like, I will pay somebody to take these fucking things.
That's
away
right.
from
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Right. And
You know?
every time you walk past it and you don't hate it,
Yeah.
that's money.
If
It's
I could
free money.
If I could convert my entire garage to nothing, I'd be ecstatic.
press the button.
Press button, just nothing. Because I walk out there, there's stuff. I'm not. If I had a free hour and a half, where do you think I would have to spend it?
Yeah.
Because between you and Becky, I have no free times. Because you would want me to fix stuff that you have, and I never have to want for another project in my life. And Becky's like, yeah, you know what? We need to do the yard and the thing and rewire the roof and put it the
We
satellite
just need to
dish
find
and-
some of those young 20, 22, 23-year-old
goddamn.
guys that are super ambitious and are like, give me all the projects. Give me all the
yeah.
projects. But I lack a certain thickness of wallet. Okay, we can work with that.
More with this.
Show up, want all the projects, have an empty wallet. Because then you'll move them out on your own. I won't have to pay them to schlep them around. We won't have to do anything else.
Get a hungry kid and be like, listen, you fixed these 3 and the 4th one's yours.
Yeah, that's the deal right there. Oh, I like that. Yeah. So you really like that bike. That's cool. I'd like those 3 to run.
Yep. And then that's
So if
yours.
those 3 run,
It seems like an exchange
seems like
for
the deal.
It seems like a skid mark exchange program.
oh, that is a very good idea. You know, Skidmark's already underwater when it comes to used bikes, though.
Yeah.
You go into that place and you're just like, oh, man, who left those here?
Yeah.
All the people did. Yeah. Dang. There's people left bikes that haven't paid dues in a long time. I'm like, I never thought about that motorcycle, like that angle of a motorcycle co-op. Like, yeah, well, you got about 220 motorcycles in this building. You have 220 members, right? Oh, no. No, that's not the way that works.
I have never seen so many V45 Magnas in all of my life.
They do have a V45
Dude,
problem.
think
over
about
there.
it. So say you got a spot, you rent
Yeah.
a month or 2, right?
Yeah.
You get balls deep into a bike and find out there's some catastrophic thing. You do that Homer Simpson meme that
Yeah. You just fade away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, I wouldn't do that personally.
I sent 2 people today to Skidmark. 2 customers called my shop today desperate to rebuild a Honda CB350 on one guy, and the other guy was rebuilding a 900. And they were just like, I was told you'll work on these bikes. And I said, you were told fucking wrong. And he goes, well, they said you'll only work on them in the wintertime. And I said, there's a huge asterisk behind that.
Yeah.
I have to care about it.
Yeah.
I have to like it. Well, it's a Honda CB350. We did everything, and it's still leaking gas, pissing gas, and the whole deal. I was like, you said CB350, which in other languages is skid mark.
Yeah.
Yep.
The translation for CB350 is skid mark.
Yep.
Take it to skid mark.
They always
They will
say,
teach you how to work on that shit.
Right, but the thing is funny. It's like when you see the skid mark ads, they're always like, we don't know anything about motorcycles. Nobody does here. Just come and learn. But you know what? The one bike that they do know about, the CB350.
There's a 13-year-old girl that'll pop up and fix that thing.
Yeah.
They're very good at CB350s.
Yeah.
They will make you a CB350 out of the abandoned CB350s they have there. I've seen them do it.
I bet you they have enough that you could have one CB350 that every single part is from a different
I'm
CB350.
absolutely certain of that. I am 100% agree.
The Weatherspoon, but like down to bolts.
I have had numerous CB350s that just materialized at skid mark because I didn't want to kick them anymore.
Right.
Because they were where I needed other things to be. And I was like, you've been bad. You're going to skid mark. And that was it.
The rest of your life.
The rest of your life. Where did Rufus go? He's living on a farm up New York. Well, where did that CB350 go? Oh, he's living at Skid Mark Garage. He's living his best life.
We need to
Not
get
on
them
Hamilton.
We need to get them to advance to the Honda Shadow 600.
Well, okay.
That's the next plan.
All right, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Really, what I'm concerned about is just making my warehouse disappear. You know, because I pay $1,500 a month rent, and I don't want to pay $1,500 a month rent anymore. Yeah. So, like, the joke is, I'm looking at houses that have four car garages and 5-car garages, because I know that if I have that kind of motivation, that I'll have the fire sale, or maybe just a fire. But I'll be down to something that fits in a 4 or 5-car garage, and I won't have to pay the $1,500 a month rent anymore for the warehouse I don't like to go to.
Right, and your mortgage will be like 1/5 of that.
Whatever.
Yeah, right.
I mean, what goddamn ever? Seriously. Yeah. Because you're like, oh, well, there's a house that is just a marker, an address for the garage behind it.
Right.
And the garage behind it is where all the magic happens, or the stasis happens. And then the house can be a place where somebody pays rent or not.
I'm still thinking Moto Airbnb.
Right. Moto Airbnb is another great idea.
That's a great idea, man.
Oh, you're passing through? Guess what? We got a spot for you.
Well, and anything in garage number 2 has a license plate on it, and it might run.
Yep.
And anything in garage number 1 requires a little maintenance.
So you can come fix that if you want.
Right. You can come fix that.
Dude.
We'll have a healthy exchange program.
That's it, man. Stay the week, but the bike has to run.
The bike has to run.
Yeah, dude, you could do all kinds of shit
I've
like
done
that.
that for people that were like, oh, you're coming to visit me in California? I got a bike you can ride. And I'm like, sure, man, I'll show up. And I'll be like, great, where's the bike I can ride? That hasn't moved in 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, it just needs a tune-up. But you can have it for the week while you're here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
So you have all the parts, right? It doesn't need any parts. It ran great 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it needs things. So you spend the first 2 days working on the bike and you spend the next 4 days riding. You know, it's fine. It's
happens.
fine. Nothing wrong with that. All right, guys, that's it. That's been a podcast from Cleveland Moto. We've got a number of events coming up in the future, so we want to make sure that you come out, enjoy the fall, enjoy the autumn. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff happening. Anybody going to Oktoberfest? Tom?
Look, we talked about this earlier, and I said if I took 2 weeks off in a row, you would kill me.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough.
Kill me.
But on the other hand,
So
I want you to go to Oktoberfest. So yeah, right. It's
but
tough.
how am I going to? Where am I going to stay? Where am I going to stay in Munich?
I'm sure
2
they're
weeks,
planning on her
2
staying
weeks.
somewhere.
That's well,
Right.
no, because she's going to Hanover. Oh, and
right around
then
the
she's
corner from
driving.
Munich.
She's going down. She's going to Munich. See, that's the problem. Is she's going into Hanover?
You can commute. It's like a train ride.
I was going to say,
It's like one train.
I was like, because I was going to fly in, and I'm like, how in the hell am I going to find a
Get your Euro card. You'll be
hotel
fine.
room?
Get your Euro Rail pass. You'll be fine. All right, that's it. If nobody's got anything else, ride fast and take chances. Play us out of here. John, where's John?
No, John.
No, John.
No, John.
Oh, ba 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 ba. Play it fast. Get us out of here, sleepy. Red button, red button.